as you interlock the two.
Now stretch them right as...
Soccer and the...
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
I felt like a reptile. Like a reptile. I felt like a reptile.
Winner.
Where are we going? Even better.
I think I've grown, you know. I think I'm a bit taller than I was yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've grown about 3 inches overnight. Look at that.
Has it just dropped?
Or do I just slouch when I'm doing the podcast normally?
Maybe
Probably
you
slouch.
just lean into it.
I thought I was still growing at 40. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Full Reptile Radio. Love the background, Owen.
Thank you very much, dude.
Great work. Most people won't even be able to see the Full Reptile logo, but you will be able to go onto the website later and download it for yourself for your own desktop, and then you'll be able to see where the logo is. We were just talking about Boba Fett's logo because Owen is now... He was holding out for the whole show to be out.
I went dark.
You went dark.
I went dark on the Boba Fett.
On Boba Fett. So now you caught up with it, you watched it all. So, spoilers.
Yeah,
if
lots
you've not
of
watched
spoilers.
it. Although if you haven't watched it, I don't know what you're playing at. It's out already.
Yeah.
And there have been days that
You've had enough time to do the whole series because
Right.
I've done it and I've got kids.
there you go. You've
and
had
dogs.
enough time to do both Mandalorian and the Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Really?
You're probably better off doing Mandalorian.
Yeah, you weren't much of a fan, were you?
I can't say I was disappointed because I wasn't disappointed because it put Boba Fett back in my life.
Yeah.
Okay. It made me think a lot because even looking here, and there's a Gamorrean guard there, right?
Yeah.
Which Frank Trigg plays a Gamorrean guard. But,
Does he really?
yeah, Frank Trigg's one of them.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Why it's in there, I don't know. Again, stupid shit falls out
Fair enough.
and then just sticks around.
Should have been able to tell. Did he have his toenails painted?
Yes. Yeah. And he sounded exactly like Frank Trigg.
He was the Gamorrean guard with the pink toenails.
But
Twinkle toes.
in Jedi,
Yeah.
they were big old units.
Yeah, they were.
Big units, and they had like a brown. They've got the pants on, the brown. What's it? But the chest is still. They've still got the same uniform.
Yeah.
And because I don't like change, I know I've spoken about this before, being a child of divorce, but I'm not a big fan of change. I can't handle it. It's weird. So when I'm used to these guys looking like this,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they have been hanging out with Barry Bethel on the Slim Fast plan.
But were they like adolescents, though? Do you know what I mean?
Fuck knows,
Like,
man.
I don't know whether they were like, 18, 19 years old, and these boys are like 40.
Okay,
Like, maybe he's a 40-year-old Gamorrean guard.
maybe.
And the ones in the Boba Fett book are like, early 20s.
I don't know. Even if I stick that to one side and go, do you know what? We've got slim pigs. Fair enough. We'll live with slim pigs. The fact they don't give them a gun fucks me off, especially when they've got your back. So
There's a lot of no guns, though, in Boba Fett. Like, there's the girl with the knives. You'd at least start off with a gun and then save the knives for last.
you have them a bit like Legolas behind
There you go.
You just start,
There you go.
pull them
He
babies
starts
out.
off with his bow and arrow.
Of course,
Right.
which is a medieval gun, as we know.
There you go.
Simple.
Simple.
So I said this to you when I got here because obviously I held Boba Fett. I know you call him Boba. There's a lot of different ways. I call him Boba Fett. Always
Fett.
have. It might be wrong. I don't care. But because we only ever saw him before.
What do they call him?
Clive?
Huh?
Boba. Well, I'm wrong then. And again,
This is the scone conversation.
Yeah.
I was watching Would I Lie to You last night.
right.
Talking of series, I've just smashed through.
It's wicked,
That's-
isn't it?
Oh yeah, hilarious. Fucking what's his name? Lee Mack.
Yeah.
He is super quick.
Yes.
He's so quick.
Yeah.
I wish my brain worked that fast. Like,
Yeah.
he would fit in really well in the gym. He'd get the fuck beaten out of him because someone would put it
Imagine.
on him. But
Yeah.
like that's
No
the
fight
kind of,
skills, but he's got a good mouth on him.
That's the kind of wit
Yeah.
that you need to hang in the gym. You need to be that fast.
I like-
Anyway,
yeah, he's
he
good.
was. They were talking about scone last night, so it's a similar kind of situation.
It's a tricky one because if you fall into the wrong trap with scone and scone, you can sound really posh without meaning to.
Yeah. So which one's the posh one then?
Scone or scone. Scone is posh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scone is you just reading it as it is.
Right.
Scone is you going out your way to say scone. I think.
You're going out your way.
Yeah.
What is it not
Just
easy
scone.
though? Because you're dropping a letter.
Well, it's like saying bath and bath, isn't it?
That's how people say it's gone in Nottingham, though, isn't it?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Where is it? It's gone, mate.
It's gone.
What, with jam and cream?
It's gone.
Shut up, dickhead.
Anyway, Boba Fett, what were we saying?
So, because we'd seen him a maximum before in the movies,
Yeah.
what, 2 or 3 times?
Yep.
So, he basically stole all of our hearts because he was a badass dude. He had cool armor. He had multiple cool weapons.
Yep.
He had gadgets on his knees and shit. He wasn't like a main dude with a lightsaber, so he was hanging in there with everyone. But the way that he died, or we thought he died before, was a goof. So Luke chops the end of his gun off on the skiff, on the barge, and then Han Solo's mooching about, oh, I'm blind, I can't see. And then basically knocks him off into the Sarlacc pit. That's not the spoiler we're talking about, because if you haven't seen that since 1983 or whatever the fuck it was, you're behind. So he died in a bit of a goof.
Yeah.
But because the figure was so cool and the character itself was just badass, we all just kind of held on to it really tight.
Yeah.
So then when The Mandalorian came out, it was like, yeah, he's cool, but he's not Boba to me. Like, he's cool, he's good, I like him, but Boba Fett's the OG. But because with Star Wars, there's so many different offshoots and different bits, you kind of never know where you are with the timeline. But because, obviously, when he fell into the pit, that was during Jedi, which if you think, obviously the main guys, Leia, Han Solo, Chewie, all the rest of them, they shot off and they formed a plan with Admiral Akbar to go and have a word with with the Ewoks. So on Endor. So all of that was happening. So I'd like to think while ever Boba's in there, by the time he's got out, we're just finishing Jedi.
Right.
Similar thing. He's not going to be in there for years because.
Well, how long was he in there, though?
I don't know, because you still need to fucking eat and drink.
The other question is his armor Beskar? And why is it so fucking tatty compared to Mandalorian? Like, Mandalorian looks like
know.
When he walks into a bar, everyone's like, hang on a minute, this guy's got money.
Or they're like,
he
fucking hell, mate.
Right?
Turn the light off. Do you know what I mean?
And talking of weapons, he's got some fucking pretty good weapons as well. He's got those whistling birds.
I like them.
They're pretty cool.
Because when
I'd use them straight away, though, most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, most of the time,
Yeah.
I watch it, I'm like, he could have just fucking whistling bird these motherfuckers.
I think I just saw
He could have
7 pikes.
He could have just Indiana Jones them all, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Straight away.
Yes.
But he doesn't. Sometimes he shows off.
No. And I've just got there's so many bits that annoyed me, but I still want to love it. So the Sand People thing, making his weapon, all
that
that
was
shit,
brilliant. Loved it.
amazing.
Yeah. Very samurai that was,
Yes,
wasn't it?
and especially with the train coming through. And I think because...
That was a good scene as well with the train.
where they fucked the train up.
Yeah, I might watch that again, actually.
So for me, the rule of thumb in Star Wars, because I don't know what happened, back in the day, I know that when they were making it, they would grab anything from anywhere and it would either be part of the set or a prop. So you can go back through all the original Star Wars and pause them and be like, oh, that's a Betamax video player. And it's got a mop stuck in it. And there's a do you know what I mean? It was all random shit stuck together and sprayed grey.
Yeah. It was like a college project, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it. And it's like they've got not enough people on the set and they'll go, right, put an ice cream tub on your head. Right, go and stand there and just walk a bit funny. Go and put a wok on your head. Or put a washing basket around your waist. And it's like, it looks a bit shit. And because now the whole focus is a series, it's not a film. So you're focusing on the main character, but you've also got a lot more B-reel.
Bit more EastEnders, isn't it?
Yes. And because of that, instead of having one Wookiee or one what was Greedo? You know when he was with Han selling him the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And he gets shot. Anyway, we'll call him Greedo. You didn't really focus on the fact that his mouth wasn't moving because you'd moved on pretty quick to the next part of the film. Whereas when there's 10 of them and none of their mouths move in sync, like the Pikes, their mouths didn't move in sync at all. And the same as the Mer.
They're a bit like the whatchamacallit, the early Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah.
You know, with the...
Yeah. But that was 1991.
Yeah.
I thought we'd gone like...
Carol Burger.
Dude. Yeah. Problems. So, because of that, if I think back, Star Wars was mainly built off stormtroopers.
Yep.
So the majority of the cast were stormtroopers or a main person as a human. And that's not to offend any non-humans out there, but The majority of them were human and they were animated organically
Yeah.
because they've got a mouth. So when you've got stormtroopers, you can't see the mouth. Sand people, you can't see the mouth. When the pike have got the helmet over their face, fine.
They should have just kept the helmets on all the time.
Yes. Whereas when you've got the lizard guys, or is it a Borosk? What was the bounty hunter that we bought? Is he a Borask? I don't want to say Borsak because it sounds like I'm saying Ballsack, and I'm not. But like the lizard dragon dude, wherever joke shop they went to grab 100 masks, they don't articulate in any way. So it looks dead shit. Then you've got some Cockney dude with a bionic eye turning up on a fucking Vespa. In multicolours.
It was a fancy Vespa though, wasn't it?
Oh, mate, I would have rather it been a Vespa.
Yeah.
Because Mando could have just fucking shot it and been like, get a spaceship, dickhead.
They look more like thugs out of Judge Dredd.
Or Biker Mice from Mars.
That was a fucking good show.
It was a good show in the 90s.
What was the one with the cars that used to come out of the spaceship, like a Captain Planet kind of? They were the ones with the rings, weren't they, Captain Planet?
Jason the Wheel Warriors, you mean?
That's it.
You're talking about Jason the Wheel Warriors. Captain Planet, he's our hero, going to take pollution down to zero. He's the rings.
We didn't get that fucking message, did we?
No, not one bit.
No.
No, because once that cartoon had finished, we went outside and ate a load of sweets out of a plastic container that we threw in the lake and killed some more ducks.
There we go. Yeah.
And sprayed some aerosol. Captain Planet didn't know. He didn't care. So, yeah, lots and lots and lots of bits that just, I don't know.
So where do they go from now then? Because it was a bit, I was expecting an 8th episode, I'll be honest.
Without a doubt.
Like V and I sat down, we're like, it's fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
We sat down, we like got on Disney Plus. I'm like,
surely it can't be gone.
Where's the 7? You can't end with 7.
Yeah.
You can't do a season
No.
of 7.
No.
I mean, and then there wasn't any more.
No, well, the thing is, because obviously Timothy Olyphant he's the marshal that was in The Mandalorian.
Olyphant.
Yeah. He's a ledge, right? He's in everything. He's in Justified. He's been in nearly everything. He's a fucking hero. And he's a wicked guy. So when he was in Mandalorian, we were like,
He's the Billy Bob Thornton guy.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Olyphant Bob Thornton.
Yes, that's the one. So because obviously he had the armor, which obviously when he was looking in the pit for it, we knew the Jawas already had it. It's always the Jawas. So
First place you check, innit?
without a doubt, why wouldn't not go and check the little yellow-eyed guys?
Course.
Little glowing up.
Yeah.
Of course.
And they only want a Cadbury's cream egg.
That's all they want.
That's it.
You can get 2 for a
A
pound at the minute.
massive, hairy Cadbury's cream egg. Honestly, I could roll it around the floor in the gym after V's been training. And
That was filth.
Plenty of hair on the floor in there. We could shave your beard.
Yeah,
in fact,
this is an
I was just about to say, there's not, you know what I mean? Like we could take your beard and just Photoshop that all over your head, and you would actually look like one of those.
That's an egg sling. So there's one in here. It's just
Is that, yeah.
I'm just incubating it as we speak. So because Olyphant lost his armor, and obviously Mando had taken that, there was no bit of him sort of going, "Here, Boba Fett, you're the fucking OG. Here's your armor back," even though he was looking for it. There was just lots of bits that it kind of felt. Once I'd seen the last episode, I knew that it was just a massive setup for Mando, which is fine because they've built a whole series off of him being in 3 films for a total of, I think, 6 minutes. There wasn't a lot, was there?
No.
So it was fair play. And you got to remember he's 62.
He moves well for a 62-year-old, doesn't he?
He does move well for a 62-year-old. I don't think he moves well enough to be filmed for 7 episodes fighting.
He's the original guy that was Jango Fett, right?
Oh, Jango Fett, yes.
Yeah.
So he was Jango Fett, which was episode 2.
Yeah. And that little kid grew up to be tied to a Vasa.
Yes, he did.
And now he's knocking people out in the
Yes,
UFC.
he did.
Yeah.
Mate.
Badass.
All day.
Tied to a Vasa might have Boba Fett DNA.
I hope so. I think he needs to get the
The fucking
Methosaur or whatever we said it was. Yeah, the
shoey saw.
the horned with a shoey.
You could make one out of 2 shoes.
The shoey saw.
Ideal.
Mate, I'd watch that. So I enjoyed it because it was Star Wars, but I was also ridiculously critical of it because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it means that much.
I hope Family Guy do a parody version of Mandalorian or Boba Fett and Peter Griffin's Mandalorian.
What, with his belly sticking out of
Fucking
the
brilliant.
armor? Just trying to push it
Didn't-
back
Who
in.
did they use? Was it Giant Chicken, didn't they? Giant Chicken was
Yeah,
Boba Fett
yes,
in it. Okay.
yeah.
So he could do a season. So that would make, who would Peter Griffin have to be then? If Giant Chicken was Boba Fett.
Well, he could be Mandalorian.
Or
he'd be the
he'd have to be
Grieger.
one of the Hutts.
No, he'd be a Hutt. He'd be Grogu. Just a really cute
No,
Peter
that's
Griffin.
Stewie's Grogu, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm kind of glad he came back, though. And I do like the way that he walks a bit like Conor McGregor. Just the way he walks up and he's like, no, you can fuck off.
You would Billy Strut, though, if you were 50 and had superpowers.
And now a Beskar armor chainmail thing underneath your woolly fleece.
I always wonder how he feels being treated like a baby.
Yeah, and being
like, does
called
he
Baby
feel
Yoda.
like a baby is like 50 years old?
Yeah, but that's nothing.
It's
to
like
him, is it?
it's like Hezbollah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like he must get sick of like people that are younger than him picking him up.
Yes.
Like, come here, mate.
Yeah.
How you doing?
That's why
Poking
his
him in his
headbutting
little
Khabib,
belly
wasn't
and
it?
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm fucking 26.
Yeah. I could be your granddad.
You know what I mean?
Put me the fuck down.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like people patting your head. I used to get that a lot, because I was small. A lot of people would pat me on the head. And when I was at school, I was not even 5 foot when I left school. So that's fucking tiny.
Yeah.
And everyone always said, oh, you get a sudden spurt, which I obviously had to wait a long time for. But I once, because I rode motorbikes, I rode trials, and we did it was like a Red Nose Day thing. Mm-hmm. I did a sponsored silence, which imagine for me, I made bank for Red Nose. I made a lot of money for Red Nose. But it was one of them ones where I had my full kit on, and I had my boots on, and I had my helmet on. And there was one of the lads that he was a lot taller than me. He must have been 5'3". And he walked past me, and because I had a motorbike helmet on, he thought he could hit me as hard as he liked on top of the head, which turns out there's no suspension between the helmet and your fucking head and your neck, so it really hurts.
Yeah.
So he walked past, walking through F block, and he just went poof on the top of my head, which fucking leveled me. So I picked myself up, and he was still walking out, so I just went up behind him and fucking hoofed him in the ankles with motorbike boots on with steel toe caps.
Nice.
And you imagine, his legs just split like fucking paper. So he went straight down, and he went, you fucking wait, I'll fucking see you at dinner time. I was like, cool, I've got a bike helmet on. I'll fucking headbutt you. And it was one of them that it migrated from the patting on the head. And eventually, he came to me and apologised because he didn't realise it was going to hurt me. But obviously my low kick helped. But it's one of them, the patting on the head, the patronising side of that thing with Grogu. I can imagine, I'd like to see him go dark side. If we have like the first 3 episodes where you got Anakin being like a cute kid, racing a pod racer and doing all that shit, and then going, actually, just whip me off at the knee. I want like another 7 inches added. Maybe we could get a Grogu on stilts.
Yeah.
As a Sith Lord.
That'd be cool. Or we could get him one of those suits like Kang had in Yeah, exactly. We could like sit in the stomach of it and drive it.
That'd be quite cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be good. I would like a dark version of Grogu. That'd be kind of cool if they were brothers.
Yeah,
and they were twins and they were separated at birth.
Like Stewie Stewie had a bad version of Stewie, didn't he? That had the red top and the yellow dungarees.
Yeah.
So Han Solo's next, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they did the movie, didn't they?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
But I think I enjoyed that movie because they took it so far away from the Star Wars world.
Yeah.
Because the biggest issue I've ever had is, obviously, the first 3 episodes don't count. Episode 1, 2, and 3, no, they don't count. A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi, that's where it starts.
What about Jar Jar Binks? Sorry.
Misa Tinker? No, you can fuck off. No, I made... What?
Jar Jar Binks?
No way.
Why not?
It was shit.
What about the what's he called? The king, the underwater king.
Exactly.
He was brilliant.
No, it was like something off Babar the Elephant. Like, not a chance. When they made them, that was purely cashing in. As we know, that they fucked it all. They put the figures
Someone
on.
has got boxed, but Jar Jar Binks figures somewhere stashed. Still hoping. Have you got some?
Yeah.
You're
I've got all
fucking
the
hoping
original.
that shit's going to turn around.
This one, I've got all of the first set of the original episode 1 release in 97 boxed. You know, the ones that had the com chip as well.
Yeah, but you didn't like them.
I didn't like it, but I bought it as part of the set. And I don't want to be sat on the Antiques Roadshow in 20 years going, he was a cunt. Because I get thrown off the show.
I remember 2 of my mates who were in their early 20s standing in line at Toys R Us waiting for the lightsabers to be released.
Oh, yeah.
You know, literally the shit ones that went...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like a weird torch inside. Well, you've seen my lightsaber.
I've seen your amazing lightsaber.
Hang on a minute.
But we had the... you remember, that was the first time a double lightsaber came out because of Darth Maul.
The question is it charged up? Because I was wafting it around the cloud of smoke.
We play in the
gym other
garden.
day.
Please, work.
Oh, it's not. No, it's not charged.
And it's
Look
sick.
at that. It is fucking awesome as well. I was wafting it around the gym the other day.
Maybe you should just do a war room just on different lightsabers. Like the lightsaber guy just jumping around. This would be Mace Windu. Just jumping
Did
about.
you see that that tattoo I sent you the other day of that lightsaber? Mate, you'll have to drop it up on the screen. This tattoo artist had done these lightsabers. I would give him a shout out because it was so fucking good.
How's he
Sent it
tattooed
to
a
Jamie.
lightsaber?
Mate, it was just the style of all of his artwork was very, very. It was very like specific. Like nobody else had a style like it. Like check that out.
Oh shit!
How cool's that? Like all of his styles, like kind of a pop art graffiti style, isn't it?
It's like they're like clip art glyphs.
Yeah. What's his name?
His name is Mambo Tattooer.
There we go.
And he's got a lovely trilby.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm just skipping through your. Nice. Yeah.
Cool
Or it could be a
style,
fedora.
right?
Yeah, it is a cool style. It's like a real thick marker. Like
Yeah.
You've seen that guy who draws with a bingo dobber?
Yeah.
Black line.
Just like that.
Yeah, really
Uh-huh.
cool. Super cool. He's
Yeah,
done
it's cool.
Pokemon. I'm going to get Anna Tamagotchi. Don't drag me into that shit.
I know. I spent all day on here the other day looking through and thinking, and there's some of them as well. Mambo Tattooer. Yeah, there are some where he's done like really, really like detailed, like fine art stuff with the drawings over it, with like the power line drawing over it.
Some people have just got mad skills, haven't they?
It's amazing.
Mad
And what
skills.
I love about this is it's a style that he's like specifically developed
Yes.
that I've not seen anywhere else. You know, he's a Lego man. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, but that's got
I'm
the
ready for
fine...
some more tattoos.
Oh, he smashed that.
Yeah. I'd have a Boba Fett tattoo.
Yeah, I think I'd have a Star Wars one
I've seen a
somewhere.
couple of good ones. What would you have?
I'm not sure, because my favourite characters, I think, other than Boba Fett, were Chewie and Han.
Yeah.
I just like their relationship. It was kind of cool. Chewie. That's my Han Solo. But, talk about Han Solo, that's what we're saying. The film, when they did that, because they moved away enough from the franchise, they made a fucking brilliant film.
Yeah.
And Woody Harrelson's in it, so I have a
Brilliant.
word.
Love Woody Harrelson.
Anyone who can defend new Star Wars to A New Hope, it just fucking kills me, because A New Hope, a message is put into a droid, right, by a princess, and then that droid has to go and find an orphan that then displays the message. The orphan then finds a new father figure that they see get struck down in front of them that then makes them want to win for the Alliance, right? Both fucking films. Like BB-8, same message to fucking Rey to go and find her father figure, Han Solo, and then they see him get struck down. What the fuck are you doing?
That's how you send emails back in the Star Wars days.
Imagine that's all it was.
It's like kind of old and kind of modern at the same time. It's like futuristic, ancient, like Western style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's where they fucked up on the first three films. They made it, because it was 97, 98,
Yeah.
they made it far more futuristic, and it was a prequel. So you know when you've got like an N1 starfighter and then you've got an X-Wing, an X-Wing looks like an F-Reg Ford Escort, and the N1 starfighter looks more like a Lexus IS200.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Very similar,
Yeah.
but this one's got smooth edges, and it's like they never went backwards.
Right.
No one's come out now and gone, do you know what we should do? XR2i. Amazing. It'd sell pepper pot rims. It would sell a fucking
Yeah,
load.
you could put a couple of wings on my granddad's old Nissan Sunny, and that would fit right into like, the early Star Wars.
Early?
movies. Yeah.
But then if they said, here's a prequel, and there's a fucking Ayrton Senna's F1 car, you'd be like, no, mate. You can't have... Why did you stop making them that cool?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then you've got the glowing Vespers, and they
Fuming.
don't fit at all.
Not
they,
one
they
bit.
don't even fit on like the planet that they're on.
They
like
should-
you could probably find a different planet to put them on.
And they weren't
They're they're
fucked.
imported.
Yeah. Everything in Star Wars is fucked. Everything is
Yeah.
fucked. There's no shop. There's no spa that you can nip to, or Halfords. It's all jacked. That's why what's her name, who's got all the little droids that they built the N1 Starfighter together in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, how's Pimp My Ride looking? So I'm just going to knock this back together. And so when they were doing that, it's all junk. They were junkers. That's what they were called. That's why everything's fucked. So when they turn up on Vespers,
Yeah. shiny metallic ones.
With an eye that can zoom.
He was pretty good though. The modder, the guy that did all the
Yes, yeah. When she had her internals modded,
Yeah.
that was wicked.
Yeah.
But when it's like Meg on Family Guy when her nails can grow. It's like, what powers did you get, Meg? Nothing. I got nothing. And the guy with the two eyes, or the one that could zoom in.
Yeah.
I'm not being funny. When she was going up to the top balcony to snipe, he was like, "Oh, there she is. They've made it." Zzz, zzz, zzz. And he's like zoomed into her face, right into her eyeballs. Like, she's definitely there. It's like, anyone could see she's there, you fucking idiot. You didn't have to go through all that agony and whatever fucking upgrade you have to have each week. Stupid.
What would you upgrade?
Yeah, probably my tail.
Yeah, would you?
Oh, mate. Yeah. Yeah. No, or maybe I'd go for Jax's arms off of Mortal Kombat.
Would you? Yeah.
But that in turn would make me have to do my tail because I'd pull it off. Could you imagine? Get over here. No, that wouldn't be good. Yeah, maybe jump. Maybe like I could run faster. I'd be like Bravestarr.
Yeah.
Can you remember
That was
Bravestarr?
pretty good. Yeah, Bravestarr was pretty good. You used to be able to get action figures of Bravestarr as well,
I've got
didn't
them,
you?
yeah. Can you remember what his horse is called?
Oh, Silver?
No, it was Silver, but it was called 2020.
Was it?
That was his name.
Because it had good vision.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe he had the eyes modded.
Yeah, and Bravestarr had the sight of a hawk,
Eyes of a hawk.
strength of a bear,
Speed of a puma.
speed of a puma.
Eyes of a hawk.
And didn't he have like
Brilliant.
a leopard print waistcoat?
Well, he was a bit of a cowboy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Bit of a,
He was. It was him and Tex Hex. Tex Hex was the bad guy who looked like his face had been through fucking... Well, he looked like he was made out of Play-Doh put in acid, wasn't it? It was all gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you got the figures back in the day, the detail that they got into them, because the figures that they made for Bravestarr weren't the 3.5s.
Were they not? Were they bigger?
Yeah, they were smaller than Action Man, but bigger than G.I. Joe. So when you're trying to play and you're like, all right, boys, Bravestarr's here, and he'd be like, all right, lads, this fucking Bungles just turned up off Rainbow. You're like, what are you going to do? He's like, well, I've got my gun. It's like, fuck off. Your horse is going to tread on that car. So, yeah, that was...
Yeah. Non-compatible. I think he was like that as well, wasn't he? Action Man. He wasn't compatible with anybody else.
Barbie.
Well,
He was fucking
this
mad
was
compatible.
the problem.
Yeah.
We all had a friend that came round and started fucking positioning the Action Men in the Barbie house.
How was that friend?
I had one of those friends as well, Stuart Collington.
Oh, Stuart.
Yeah.
We'll have to share notes.
Yeah.
I've got plenty. And outfits.
He was...
I had the original Action Man that you could really bend as well. You know, the ones with
Yeah.
the rubber hands that smelt like World War II.
Yeah.
Because the clothes, I think whenever they were making the clothes for World War II soldiers,
Yeah.
they were
just made a
making
set of little
miniature
ones.
versions. I don't know what it was. Sam Lennox's uncle had given him a suitcase, and I mean a fucking massive suitcase, no wheels on it.
A square suitcase.
Yes, it was one of the... It had slightly rounded corners, so it was probably...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, 58?
79.
Yeah, maybe 79. But it was like wafer thin. If you pushed it down, it would pop back up. And that was full of... I probably had 30 Action Men. I had the plastic hill with a gun turret on it.
Yeah.
I had the truck, the tank. So all
The Jeep was good.
original.
With
Yeah.
the fold-down
Windscreen. Yeah. So we had that, every single gun you could get. But all of the clothes and the whole suitcase smelt like the 40s. So like there's an army surplus near me, which is massive and really good. But you walk in there and the fussed,
Oh,
it's not even offensive.
no, it's
It's just like respect.
authentic.
It is authentic.
If I went in there and it smelled like H&M,
problems.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
There's no way. I used to go there all the time to buy combats and shirts.
Yeah.
All the time.
the oversized army shirts.
yeah.
'cause
Combats for skateboarding, shirts for art college.
and a record bag because Kurt Cobain made them cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like Nirvana? Get a black record bag and wear an oversized army shirt. Maybe some para boots.
Some Doc Martens.
Oh, mate. Yeah, but if you couldn't afford Docs, you could go to the army surplus and get some There's a lad at our school, his name was Tat. And he was fucking huge. And I can remember once, I went out of the dinner hall and for whatever reason, I had a sauce packet in my hand that I'd bought at the time. And I must have just fucking monged out, took this sauce packet outside with me. So as I walked outside, it fell out my hand. And I was just like, I'll stamp on that. So I did. But I stamped on it. It went straight up Tat's leg. And bear in mind, You remember the book, The Twits?
Yep.
You remember all the shit they had in their beard? Cornflakes and fucking birds and all sorts. He had that already up his leg. So my little bit of sauce literally did nothing. But he looked at me like a fucking rancor and was like, run. He chased me for, I think, about 50 minutes. Because I was small, I could get away. But I just knew the minute he got hold of me, he was going to eat me. And yeah, it was... that's where I would have used my Bravestarr legs to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah, problems.
What about some fights? You watched Amir Khan Kell Brook, didn't you?
I watched the highlights, and it kind of played out the way I thought it was going to play out.
It was a wicked fight. We watched it the other day, didn't we? It's an awesome fight.
Yeah.
So cool. Just kind of everything I wanted it to be, really.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want anybody to get knocked out fast.
No.
I didn't really want it to be a controversial, close split decision. I wanted it to be quite clean cut.
Yeah.
And given the fact that Amir Khan's had so much success, it was nice to see Kell Brook get there in the end.
And I think they're at a similar position in their career.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, Amir Khan's had a little bit more of a springboard. He's had, obviously, a bit more of a household name. And I know Kell Brook's had a few issues with it. Is it his orbitals?
Both of his orbital bones have been repaired.
Even if you can man up and sort of just suck up that pain and get through all that, to know that it's damaged or to know that it's not completely solid now, you've got to carry in that wherever you go. Like Stacey's cousin's had his neck fused.
Really?
Yeah, he had motorbikes and he had an accident on he's going to text me and tell me it's wrong. I think it was a GSXR 1100, and he basically snapped his neck. So now he can't drink out of a can.
Because he can't tilt his head back.
And he can't sneeze properly because it just fucking reverberates through him. But the issue is you're always carrying that. So whereas before he was quite a confident person, or he still is, but if you're going to get into a fight and someone could literally just hit you not very hard, it could paralyse him for life.
Damn.
So it's for Kell Brook to do what he did, knowing someone like Paul who's got that sort of...
That's the thing, innit? I was thinking that, like, where would your mind be at stepping into a fight after the first eye surgery, and then all of a sudden it happens again in a fight, and you know what it feels like, it's happened again. Like, just having the confidence to step back in there after that. I always thought the same about Stefan Struve, because he always seems to take loads of damage. Like, didn't he fracture his jaw twice?
Yes,
in different places.
Yeah.
And it was like, repair it and I'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, it's an amazing mindset when you think about it,
it's
to be able
scary.
to work through that.
I mean, that bravery, especially in the industry that they're in, because essentially any fighter is almost chip paper to a degree, and that's no disrespect to any fighters, but as much as Randy Couture was a hero a few years ago, he's now obsolete. And the same as then when you got BJ Penn, obsolete. Only to the casual fan. I mean, obviously, anyone else that's invested in them people, they're still important, but when you're putting your life on the line and you're not doing it to stay relevant, you're doing it because it's your job and it's what you love and all the rest of it, he still must be terrifying because, I mean, being knocked out is scary, but when something actually breaks or is damaged to the point where, like you were saying about your thumb, it's not the same.
Yeah. No.
But you can't get it back. You can't snap it again and be like, we'll try again.
To be honest, I'm not sure which one's in the right position anymore. I think they're both kind of in the wrong position.
Yeah, they're both fucked. But this is it. The thing is, like...
I'd be no good on one of those scooters.
On the speeder bike?
No, I'd be no good on it, mate. I'd be in constant reverse, I think.
It'd be nice if you were riding bitch and Grogu was at the front.
E.T. style.
And you just holding on to him. Just
wrapped in a blanket.
Yeah, holding him round the waist. Please get me there.
What do you reckon of this weekend's fights? Makhachev and Bobby Green.
Oh, man.
I mean, he looked good, didn't he, against Hakparast?
He did. And he is good. He is really good. And I'm just hoping that we're going to get some momentum. I think if we can all channel our inner Bisping Rockhold, then there's a chance.
Well, I mean, it is that late notice.
This is it.
There's some good luck there, isn't there?
Massively. Because you don't have time to overthink it. You don't have time to overtrain it. And you don't have time to... It's like with a driving test. You know, if your driving test is in an hour, fuck it. See what happens.
Yeah.
If it's in 3 weeks, you're going to lose sleep for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Being a 17-year-old kid. But not now. So when you've got someone like Bobby Green, who, I mean, the confidence that he's riding off that, and I think overall for me, the fact that he kind of doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. He doesn't not give a fuck about fighting.
Uh-huh.
But all of the schmonts that comes with it, or the fears that are inbred into a lot of people.
Yeah.
Will I win my next fight? What's going to happen? What about sponsors, contracts, all this other thing? Bobby Green kind of doesn't fucking care.
Yeah.
Which is gold for me.
Same as we were talking about with Jim Miller.
Oh, mate.
He's in the same situation. He's like, fuck it, let's just go till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Green's got, 12 losses on his record? Short notice fight. And and going back to the Bisping thing, like, this is an even better scenario for Bobby Green because Bisping was coming off a movie set.
Yeah.
Having not been preparing for a fight.
Yeah.
He's coming off a really good win, knowing full well he's in shape.
Yeah.
He took his shirt off and ran to the cage. He was good to go straight away. He cruised through 15 minutes and then he ran back. You know what I mean?
Like he's already dropped 20 pounds. You see his video and he's like, I like all you can eat sushi. Fucking hell, how much do you like it?
What
he's dropped 20 pounds already.
Jesus.
Yeah. So basically, I think he's one of them people that goes in and out of camp, and when you're out of camp, you go full Ricky Fatton.
I wonder how much time he had between like finishing the Hakparas fight and then knowing he was going to be fighting.
It wasn't long,
Makhachev.
was it?
It can't have been.
Well, it was only
Must have been a few days.
It was 2 weeks ago that he fought. So 2 weeks. So it was on the Tai Tuivasa card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
271.
Mm-hmm.
So then, so that's even if it was right afterwards.
Yeah.
Which obviously it wasn't because he managed to get a bit of sushi inside him.
Yeah.
But I think for me, when you've got someone, who was he meant to fight? Wasn't it Beneil?
Beneil Dariush. Yeah.
I like Beneil Dariush, and he is a gamer, and he's been in the game for such a long time that he kind of still surprises you because he's a bit like the Jim Miller character that he gets hit or he gets rocked or he gets knocked about, but he pulls it out, and there's no denying that he's a solid dude. But I would have taken a little bit more convincing that Beneil could win. But that's pretty much always the case with Beneil, and that's no disrespect to him because he's an amazing fighter. But the problem is he's getting older while these younger guys are just coming up younger and younger. So he's not necessarily managing to get away into that veterans league of fighting Robbie or Cowboy or like the people that
kind of needs a title shot for that, don't they?
Yeah. So he's swimming amongst the current fishers.
Yeah.
And when you've got someone like Makhachev, I mean, it's the head and heart thing again. It's the whole Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa thing where you're like, he's obviously going to win. Derek Lewis is obviously going to win. But it's not always that clear cut. And with someone like Bobby Green, I think momentum's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
And confidence. And because he doesn't necessarily care about records, if he can spin him back fist, knock him out, or if he can if he makes him uncomfortable enough, because I think what you get with Makhachev is he dictates. And whenever someone's doing that, that's fine. And especially when they're in that world and they're used to doing that. If he can upset that rhythm one way or another, and this is only my opinion, if he can upset that rhythm of, if Bobby Green can do something just to rock him or just to make him think, I didn't fucking like that, then he's second guessing himself because his game plan isn't necessarily a game plan, especially when it comes to all these Khamzat Chimaev and Makhachev, all these guys. It's inbuilt.
Yeah.
It is.
They have a path.
Yes,
they have a path.
Ground.
Close them down, take them down, take their back, choke
I'm
them
going
out.
to smother the fuck out of you and I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're going to want it to stop. So it's either by submission or brute force.
Yeah.
That's why when Khabib had Johnson up against the cage, he had no fear.
Yeah.
There was nothing coming back. And Johnson's a good fighter, but there was no concern.
nothing, no.
Because he was like, right, well, I have absolutely nullified every element of you. The only thing you could try and do now is bite me or headbutt me, which are both illegal and would probably do fuck all because you're not going to come all the way back from here.
Yeah.
So you crack on. So that confidence is an incredible thing. But as we know, when we've seen any of those type of guys lose, which is very rare, it becomes fucking insane.
So do you think Bobby Green can do it then?
I'd love to see him do it. And I think...
What are his chances? If he fought Makhachev 10 times...
Hopefully this is the one out of the 10.
And it is one, is it? 1 out of 10?
Well, I'd 1 or 2. I'd say the problem is, and we've said about this a number of times, especially within the Western fighters, there's a lot of distractions. When it comes to people like Khabib and Khamzat and all these other guys, I don't think they get the same sort of distraction as a John Jones or a Chael Sonnen or anyone, Gagey, anyone. Because unfortunately, we a lot of them do get a weird distraction, even if it's a positive distraction from, like you were saying with Bisping, a movie career, or even Ngannou was in Fast 37 or whatever it was, just on the back of a truck with a gun, not even credited, didn't even get to talk, but they were like, "Do you want to be in Fast Furious?" He was like, "Can do." It's all that family.
He's just done Jackass as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
I've not seen it yet. But
Did you watch that? No.
What was he doing?
Yeah, I haven't
Hitting
seen it
someone
yet.
as a joke?
Yeah, he's punched somebody in the nuts. Yeah. Classic Jackass.
Yeah, but can you remember when Butterbean did that and knocked out Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, I do.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was like in a
He was
shop.
a nice dude, Butterbean was.
Butterbean, yeah.
Yeah, I fought in the same card as him in Ohio. Nice dude.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's fucking... That's
You know
something-
why he's called Butterbean?
No.
Because he went on a diet to try and lose weight, and
Right.
the diet was predominantly butter beans.
And he just put it...
He never lost any weight. He really didn't eat much. I went out for a meal with him a couple of times. He really didn't eat a lot.
He's just a big old
He's
youth.
just a big fucking unit.
I know quite a few people like that.
Yeah.
Are like
Heavy hands though.
mate.
Ridiculous.
Well, when he hit Johnny Knoxville, they were like in a... I can't remember what shop it was. I mean, this would be fucking, 2001? Mm-hmm. And they were like in a sporting goods store.
Yeah, I remember
when it's
that,
got
yeah,
like all the t-shirt rails and everything. And Johnny Knoxville, you just punch me. He's like, okay, clink. And he just knocks him for 6.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So I would say, I don't know, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
The problem is, he is just made for grinding the shit out of someone. Randy Couture used to say it best: take away their will. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, whenever you're mauling someone, and it doesn't matter if you're play fighting or if you're doing whatever, like me and the kids will play fight all the time. Same with Stace, and Stace will get involved. Like if I'm being pinned down, if the kids are all on me and they think they're winning, then Stace's like, I've got an opportunity. I can go and fuck with him. So she'll jump. So I'll stand up and sort of pin her down.
Right.
And it gets from there, oh yeah, stop it now, I mean it. You're like, all right. Do you know what I mean? And when you're in a safe environment at home, that's fine. But I've essentially taken away a will to want to be a part of this anymore. Yeah. And when it's on the main stage in an octagon and someone is just suffocating you, you know what it's like. You know what it's like to be underneath someone when they're either trying to manipulate a limb or fucking get a better position. It's horrible because you just know there's only one way out of this.
Yeah.
And I don't think
work
Bobby
really hard to do it. No, I don't think he would. But then there are certain circumstances where it's taken away from him. Like I could see Makhachev taking his back and just putting him to sleep. I could absolutely see that, and I could see Bobby Green fighting until he goes to sleep. But something like a Kimura, like Makhachev got in his last fight, you don't want to fuck with that.
No, because that's career.
Yeah, that exactly. I mean, especially at Bobby Green's stage. What is he? 35, 36? That's going to take him out for 12 months, and his style is all about being loose shoulders. Like it just wouldn't be worth the risk. If Makhachev gets ahead early, he's going to be too oppressive for Bobby Green. He's just going to smash him and drown him.
Do you think he's just going to momentum?
The question is, how quickly does he close distance? So Bobby Green, in my opinion, struggles with people that don't stand there and box with him. And Makhachev ain't going to stand and box with him because he's got the respect of his hands. So I think he's going to use his kicking game to close distance. Okay. It's a bit like Colby Covington does, actually. He does the same thing. He kicks to level change, kicks to punch to level change. Yeah. I don't think he's going to want to spend any time at all in punching range with Bobby Green. He's not going to be swinging for his head because he's
not like the last fight.
Countered. No.
They played directly into Bobby Green's hand.
Exactly.
Which made him... Well, he looked incredible.
And if they do, then he does look incredible. But if they don't, then he looks a bit... He starts to come unstuck. Like the Lando Venata. Yeah. Like that fight, he looked uncomfortable throughout that because Venata was throwing kicks and then feinting to level change. And there was a lot of...
There's too many options coming towards you.
He doesn't feel safe planting his feet and using his head movement when there's too much going. So if they're just punching, then... I think Makhachev's just... The smart thing for him to do would be to stay on the outside and kick him to bits, and then as soon as Bobby Green commits to anything stepping forward, then put him on his back. Yeah.
Because, I mean, the thing is, as we know, Bobby Green's human, and we've seen him lose. And I think, unfortunately, that's the thing a lot of times when you can look at what's going to happen. It's like when Hamzat last fought, and you kid yourself, this could happen. Yeah. This could be okay.
Oh, the leech is tough.
The leech is tough. And then he picks him up, walks over to Dana with him in one arm, like a baby that you're dragging out of Toys R Us because they're kicking off, going, just going to fuck him up. Then you're going to give me a title shot. All right? No worries, Doc. And that's kind of what happens. And the problem is, is because MMA is so good that you just never know. You might get that Bisping moment and you might get the obvious. But the difference for me now is that I quite like is the fact that you've got a few other areas for these guys to drop into, because you've got like the Mike Perry on bare knuckle.
Yeah.
It's gold.
Yeah.
I could watch that guy
Did
fight.
you see he brought a bat to the fucking weigh
Yeah.
at this press conference?
Pulled it out.
Brilliant.
Well, but that's the character. That's what everyone... And
I wonder if anybody, as he was walking into the press conference, was like, has he got something up his shirt? Is it?
I think he would have just been walking, swinging it.
Yeah.
And they'd have been like...
No, it was up his shirt though, wasn't
Oh,
it?
really?
Yeah, they wouldn't have let him walk in with that. Even if it was just like some kind
There
of
wasn't a
fucking...
lot of a
just
check, was
kind
there?
of-
It was like, all right, what's that?
Yeah.
It's not my bat. What?
It was just like someone must have seen it. It was
God.
a fucking huge thing.
But kind of cool, though.
Maniac, yeah.
But that's all you want to see.
Yeah.
Maybe Bobby Green could be good in bare knuckle with his boxing.
He absolutely could be, actually.
But that's
Yeah.
interesting because
Yeah.
the thing is, that's slowly building, and it was the thing that everyone thought was just going to just disappear, and it's gaining momentum because
Yeah.
there's a lot of interest, and it's like when you're getting to see actual fights, it's not as barbaric as because how many times can you hit someone with a broken hand? Not that fucking
Not
many
many,
because
yeah.
it really fucking hurts.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I kinda
it gets
dig it.
very kind of scrappy and messy, and they're like cuffing each other with bits
Yeah.
of the hand that's not really going to do it. I mean, it's going to cut you and lump you up and stuff, but it's not. It's going to probably do more damage to their hand if they hit you with too much power.
Exactly.
It's a weird one. It's because the other thing as well. I was actually thinking about this the other day because like the press conferences for these things are always kind of wild.
Yeah.
But then you've got to think the kind of person that is attracted to compete in bare knuckle. Like back in the early days in the UFC, like you had a handful of martial artists and you had a handful of wrestlers.
And street fighters.
Exactly, right? That was the other group. You had the martial artists, the guys that were, okay, I am here to prove to you that Kyokushinkai karate is going to work in mixed martial arts. And they're there to try and prove something. It doesn't work and you don't see him again.
That's it.
Like he's a ninjutsu expert
Yeah.
and you know what I mean?
Oh, even the Gracies. So the Gracies
Exactly.
were jiu-jitsu, that's fine. But then you had Tank.
Exactly.
Tank wasn't schooled in anything
Well,
other than the bar.
Well, no, he was a wrestler. Like
Oh, yeah.
Tank.
School
The thing is
wrestler.
with him, he had a like a good level of wrestling from like way back in the day, and he was a pretty special athlete if you watch some of his lifting videos.
Oh, back in the day.
Like he was able to bench like plates and plates of weight, and he was just a bit of a freak in that way. But obviously, he embodied a street fighter kind of thing, and I would say Marco Huas was very similar. You know, like King of the Streets was his nickname, right? He had massive hands and feet. He had fucking horrible Muay Thai and he had grappling. But it was quite clear that he'd learned those arts because he wanted to be better at fighting.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the Gracies learned those arts because it was their tradition and they would test it in fights.
Yes.
But it wasn't like they were learning
They
it
hadn't
because
taken
they
a traditional route of this is what you go into as a kid. Same
Yeah.
as Evan Tanner. His style was street fighting.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like Phil Baroni's another good example as well. But like, what I'm finding right now is that there are far more people, especially in the Instagram age, there are far more people in mixed martial arts that are now there to be famous, to be an athlete. There's loads and loads of people in mixed martial arts now that are there because they love to be pro athletes.
Okay.
And you it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
Like, they're, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they're respectful and they're, smiles for the camera and there's no
Whereas before, this
controversy.
is a fucking fight.
The people that are drawn to bare knuckle boxing are like the ones that were drawn to UFC 6.
Yes.
Like the handful of people that were coming in because it was fucking chaos and that's what they loved.
Yeah.
And they just wanted to get involved. Like the Mike Perrys and the Julian, what's his name?
Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Like
They're made for it.
they're made for it.
Yeah.
And there are handfuls of these people all around. I could probably pick 5 out of the gym at the moment right now that I'm thinking to myself, you probably do better in bare knuckle than you would in MMA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing that would make you good in MMA is that fucking nastiness that's natural to
Not
you.
your skill set.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson. Like Mike Tyson was a fucking monster. And then Customato trained him up to be a very effective
Fine-tuned,
boxer.
yeah.
But he was already a monster.
Yeah.
He was already
So
fucking
if there was
knocking
no
old
boxing,
ladies out.
if
for
there was no
mucking.
boxing and it was just gangs in New York, he'd have had knuckle dusters.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have had a bat, would he?
Exactly.
Like
and
Mike
he
Perry.
would have most likely been drawn to bare knuckle because he could have made money at it.
Yeah.
But like some of these guys have now got some schooling. Like Mike Perry's got some training.
Yeah.
He's not the most clean of fighters, and neither's Julian, what's his name? But
They're surviving.
Yeah.
They're surviving long enough to make it interesting. And I think because there's the curiosity behind it is the people that are putting money into it. So obviously when you look at the UFC, you've got, and I know they won't say they've got the monopoly, but essentially they dictate pretty much everything because of money. So depending on who's fighting who or what's fighting where, it's all dictated by money. Whereas when you've got someone on the opposite side of it to do bare knuckle, which essentially was a bit of a throwaway comment, or like people used to meet in Fight Club with a bottom of a car park with all the lights pointing the same way, that was a bit of a blood sport.
yeah.
But now because it's been either sanctioned or legalized or however you want to put it, because the big boys have still got money, they are more like the Terry Brazier type of people who've got money. Do you know what I mean? Someone who likes a fucking scrap.
Yeah, like
you know
Masvidal.
Yes.
Right? Masvidal is a he was a street fighter, he's an MMA fighter, he's gone to a middle ground now where he's got bare knuckle MMA.
Gamebred,
yeah.
Which is gold.
There's going to be a few more of those coming out of MMA that will move towards that bare knuckle, that more
Which
fight
is awesome,
aspect.
right?
Like Mike Perry could easily have his own promotion.
Without a doubt.
Mike
Yeah.
Perry and Phil Baroni. That's a fucking tag team right there.
Jesus.
Right?
That would be the best tag team. Could you
Be
imagine
hilarious.
that? Yeah.
I don't mind seeing those two boys fight, actually.
Yeah. Well, Phil Baroni definitely wants to fight someone, doesn't he?
He does. No, I think he's officially retired now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I think he very, very reluctantly retired.
Did he hang up his denim cutoffs?
No, he's still wearing them for sure.
Mowing the lawn.
Do you remember that video, that really old like UFC video? And they would never make anything like it now. But it was showing him in his car, and he had
Living
to
in his
like
car.
he had to like fucking use a t-shirt to wedge the window up.
Yeah,
He,
I
like
remember.
literally would crank the window up to the top, and then he would have to use a t-shirt over it to wedge it into the door frame.
Yeah.
Like that was like UFC promotional material back in the day.
And they were like, this is fine. This is fine. So you're nearly dead, all right? And you've not got a toilet. Fair enough. Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah.
He's one of the
And you're
biggest stars.
You're fighting to eat. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, there was a video saying with Ken Shamrock in a trailer.
Yeah.
And but he'd pull out like it was either a leather jacket or a denim jacket, but it was like a leather jacket of UFC 11. And we're on UFC 18. He's like, yeah, well, I think it's when he came back to fight Hoyce. You know, when he came back to fight Hoyce and it was like really weird and shit and he got kicked in the nuts. But he put this like leather jacket on, was like dead proud of it. And you're like, bro.
Yeah.
They were £3 for £1 at Primark. Like, we weren't trying to make you have anything special.
Got his Lions Den shell suit on.
Yeah.
Gets his grease back in his head.
Oh, mate, that'd have been cool. It is. It's a shame when you look and you see how many people got damaged and how many people this sport has chewed up and spat out because it is a fucking lot. There's a few that have got accolades applied to them like Hoyce, which would never normally have happened, I don't think, without the explosion of MMA. And then you've got other people who completely, like, they're back to working a normal job. It's a bit like, you remember the band E17 with Brian Harvey?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, one of them's a roofer in Spain.
Yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be the case. Like, if at Christmas you're hearing Stay Another Day on the radio and you're thinking about booking a flight to fucking Malaga.
Now.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Brilliant.
But they were good.
Yeah, they were.
Deep, baby. Deep down.
Yeah, there you go.
They were
They
good.
used to wear their beanies.
Do it. Do a Brian Harvey. You've got to pinch the top. That is pretty much spot on, my friend. You know, Brian Harvey drove over himself, ran himself over.
No, he did.
Ran himself over because he'd had two.
Baby, if you got to go away.
If we do white beanies, they'll be called the Bryans.
Or you, you've got the hat. You could do the. You remember how they used to do the E17? Yeah, no, it was even better though. It was even better because they used to pull it in.
Do I look
didn't
like
they?
my neck's fused?
They used to pull it in so it was really small, so there was no way it could fit
Oh,
properly.
yeah, and the back was all puckered up.
Yeah.
All right?
Can't do it. Can't do it. Going back to the beanie. Stay now. Yeah, so he's a roofer. That's it. That's the look. Yeah, and the fucking hands and everything.
And Brian couldn't even see. But he was a fucking sick songwriter.
Yeah.
He was really, and he had a really long frock coat. I can't see fuck all.
You know, there was one that always had a mohawk. Do you remember?
Yeah, he's the roofer.
Is he? Yeah.
Because there was Brian Harvey, And
I hope he wears that because he always just shave his head down really short. If he's
Yeah.
a roofer in Spain, he's going to be sunburned all the time.
or he'll have a hanky on with the corners knotted.
Of course. Absolutely.
A knotted up handkerchief
There you
that
go.
smells like the war. He got it from the Action Man shop. Fucking hell. I think it's good. I think it's good that all that shit's that there's another place for people to drop into though.
Yeah.
It's kind of important because when you see a lot of these people getting chewed up and spat out, it's kind of hard because I mean randomly when it was the UFC Fan Expo, Kurt Pellegrino was there.
Right.
And
Batman.
Thank you. That was going to be my next question. So Kurt Batman Pellegrino he'd just lost to Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
So me and my mate felt like we had a bit of like ground that we could because no one was talking to him. They were just walking. He was on the Echo Unlimited. You know the Rhino.
Yeah.
Like it was one of them where he was part of Echo Unlimited, and you'd queue up and you'd go and get a signature, a picture with him, and he was one of the nicest guys.
Yeah.
Nicest guys. And he popped up the other day on, you know, the flannel shirt that I got that was after the film Friday, and it's by a company called Dixon. Well, Dixon have started selling over here now. So it's a massive thing in America. Everyone will know about it. But basically, Dixon flannel is huge. And I'm on one of the groups on Facebook. And Kurt Pellegrino's massively into these flannels. But like, I clicked on it because I was like, Kurt Pellegrino? How many fucking Kurt Pellegrinos can there be? So I just typed Batman, which I got a like from him. But I just think he left the whole MMA life behind.
Yeah.
But if it was a few years before,
Yeah.
and even if it was like an extreme grappling contest or a bare knuckle, and when I say extreme grappling, I mean just
Like
with
combat jiu-jitsu.
just with a couple of closed fists, like this,
Yeah.
or if you stood, you can kick or whatever. But like a slightly different rule set. I'm not talking about X-arm. Did you see that?
No,
Where
I didn't
people
see
were
that.
locked together doing.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
Well, they're doing arm wrestling, but you could smack the shit out of each other as well.
Yeah.
So one bloke jumped up and pulled straight into an armbar on the fucking, and I'm like, but they were wearing pajamas.
Yeah.
They were wearing like they'd
Weird.
got into branding massively, but they'd kind of not thought past episode 2.
Yeah.
So like everyone had broken arms or were knocked out. So they're like, oh well, we haven't really got a stable of fighters to be able to
Yeah.
fucking promote.
I saw one the other day on Instagram that was like a long rectangular boxing ring.
Right.
And there were like people at either end, and there was some fucking dude in the middle on the floor getting a beating. And I don't know whether it was like, you know, like a narrow ring, so you can only have one fight at a time. And once one fight's done, the next guy's. It was just really odd. Like there was the
Russian. Did you see the Russian
with
with
the
the old
fucking
woman?
the Island Boys, the
Yeah.
fucking tattooed up. What the
there
fuck
was a
going on?
granddad.
Yeah,
He was 75, and his 18-year-old grandson.
they were the tattooed up ones, right?
fighting a 44-year-old woman, and she won
Karen.
a Karen. Yeah, what did she do? She parked in the parking space wrong, and she doesn't think racism's real.
Yeah.
Racism's real. But
Karen against the Island Boys.
I don't think you need to change the shape. I think as far as a boxing ring or an octagon site, you need to have enough room.
Yeah,
But you know when they make a triangle or
Yeah.
a trapezoid or a dodecahedron or whatever the fuck, don't fuck with the shape.
yeah.
And you don't need to put like mismatched numbers in. People like fighting.
Yeah.
So to just have a fight. But I don't know what it is when people are like, do you know what we should have? We should have a ring, but it's a thin ring all the way around the edge that you can have dogs in, so you can't get out, and that's on fire. And then you've got people in the middle covered in an ice suit, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
You don't need to get extreme. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to be fucking
What was the one
Family
that was
Guy.
like a bowl shape that I'd like this? I mean, I know Karate Combat does that.
Yeah, but you're
now.
going to twist your ankle constantly.
Like, I watched Karate Combat, and I enjoy the contests, but I have to work really hard to pay attention to all of the other shit that's around
yeah,
it.
too much flumps.
Because there's like I don't know. It's just everything around it makes it a little bit kitsch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A little
Yeah.
bit kind of, if you weren't, if your commentators didn't have face paints on and,
Yeah.
if like everybody's wearing costumes and stuff. And,
You're overthinking.
and what they do is, I don't mind the fighting arena either, how it's sloped on the side. It's like square sloped. But the people in the crowd are extras.
What?
They're extras. They don't bring fans into the studios. I mean, I don't know whether they're doing anything different now, but it's like it's filmed like a movie, right? So they have the pit and the fights going on, but then they have extras that are around the edge. Now, if you think if someone's got their CV out there in the acting world and they're known to be an extra, what do they do as an extra? They stand around and chat to the person next to them. Or they're like fucking with their phone or something.
Or just doing this, like on Street Fighter.
Blend in the background. They're not even interested in the fights. Like, so often I find myself getting distracted watching two people having a laughing conversation like two rows back.
Could you imagine? And action.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is like sometimes, and I was having this problem with the fucking Sky Sports Amir Khan thing as well. Okay. Normally they have shit hot cameramen, but there was one person that was filming it like it was a Martin Scorsese movie.
In and out.
It was too much. Like,
horrible.
Like, don't get fucking involved. It's not about you.
No.
We don't need to see your camera skills. You've got two people. Keep them both in fucking shot. Because I want to see everything that's going on. I want to see their feet. I want to see the tops of their heads.
Yeah.
I don't want to see into the fucking eyes to see how they're feeling.
No.
Like, I'll get that at another point.
Fundamentals.
Right? It's sport. Shoot it like sport. Yeah. And it was just like there's a few in Karate Combat where there's a really interesting exchange and you miss a part of it because they go behind someone. And you're like, what?
What are you doing?
What the fuck is going on here? Yeah. Like, if I wanted to be blocked by somebody else, I'd go and sit at the fucking back of the cinema.
I would put the telly behind me. You fucking clown.
I don't know. It's just like I think sometimes they.
Is it because we're conditioned to how
like the
good
fucking
the UFC
Triller
is?
thing with 8 commentators, half of them sharing a bag of Coke? You know what I mean? It's just there's too much. Stop it.
That's when you're trying to please too many people. That's like when you've got 7 ushers at a wedding, and you're like, well, you could be best man. Oh, you want to be best man, didn't you? Okay, you could be an usher, an amazing usher. I've already got 7.
Yeah,
but you'll get a suit. And it's like you can't please everyone all the time. No. And when you've got, I love Snoop Dogg, but you probably don't need him there because
I didn't need him on Contenders.
No,
I didn't need him commentating on that.
No,
it just I don't know
because it's like showing a child something amazing for the first time. It's like, oh my god, did you see his flying kick? Like, what?
Yeah, dude, we've been watching this for 10 years.
Yeah, that's beyond normal. That's Wonder Boy. Are you fucking mad? What did you expect from Wonder Boy?
He looks like some kind of karate kid.
Yeah, it's like he's definitely going to be
exactly what he is.
When his statistics came up at the beginning, it said karate background. There can be no surprise.
Yeah,
but I think because the UFC do it so well, the just the production value.
Yeah.
So when you're watching, I mean, I can't imagine how much skill it takes to be one of the camera operators that is constantly, and it's not just the fight, it's the introduction, the exit, and they capture every element. So you know when Johnny Walker got cartoon knockout on Saturday,
inflatable arm flare.
Yeah, mate. Whoever needs to.
Have you seen those
gift.
NFTs that someone's made?
No.
Of all the fighters with the fucked up weird morphed faces.
Oh mate, the one
there's a Frankie Edgar one, there's a Yoel Romero one, there's a Johnny Walker one. There's a couple people getting smashed in the face and they're all face bit. Yeah. And they've made them into fucking NFTs.
What are they worth?
I don't know.
£14.50.
Probably £14.50. And then next week some 5-year-old will buy them for 10 million fucking
off YouTube
Bitcoins or whatever.
Yeah. What have you been doing, 5-year-old? Unboxing toys on YouTube.
See, imagine if this is how it should have worked. Everyone that got into Super Mario and Sonic, all of those coins that you collected on that should have been your Bitcoin wallet. That's how you should earn Bitcoin.
Do you know how much money I'd have made?
Can you imagine?
Mate, I would have been rolling. I'd have owned the world. I could have bought any. You could have had anything you wanted. Yeah.
You could have had an actual Mario Kart.
I wouldn't have had to work at Thornton's. Can you imagine that at 16 when my mum was on my back? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm like,
I'm earning Bitcoin. What's that? Wait. Just give it 25 years.
My brother-in-law had one. He had a Bitcoin and he cashed it in.
Did he put it in one of those penny machines where you roll it and crush it and it
made
comes
it flat?
out as
it was like broke. Did you see there was a guy that had Bitcoins on a hard drive on a laptop?
Yeah.
That he'd sent to the tip or he'd got rid of it and he was going through the tip looking.
Oh no!
I mean, imagine digging through shit just to try and find fucking horrendous.
But I remember seeing a video of a guy that lost his password and couldn't get into his Bitcoin wallet.
Mate, imagine.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I can remember. I
don't even like putting it in a bank.
No,
I don't even trust those motherfuckers with it.
Well, I can remember working with someone that had their Instagram account deleted. and it had like 150,000 followers.
Yeah.
And
That's literally like being assassinated in 2022, isn't it?
big time. Well, this was a few years ago, and they came to me crying, and they were like, "It's gone." I was like, "Don't worry, we'll get it back. It's digital."
What? Your house? All your possessions?
Yeah. You mean you've got an incurable disease? No, but people don't know if I like things anymore. It's like no one fucking cares, dickhead. No one gives a shit. So obviously they were heartbroken, and he was like, "Oh, it's the worst thing that could ever happen." I was like, "Bro, it's all good. It's digital. There's a copy of it somewhere. We'll fucking find it." So I went in and I investigated it. And what I found was Instagram at the time, I don't think they were owned by Facebook, but the rule was if you have been hacked, your password was shit. It should have been better. I'm paraphrasing. It should have been better. If it wasn't your password and you're hacked or something else, basically fuck off. There's nothing we can do. And literally this went on for probably 3 months. Back and forth, and they just kept sending the same response. Like, if you've been hacked, your password wasn't good enough. If you haven't been hacked, then you're not banned or you're not blocked. It's still there, and it definitely wasn't there. But it was the way that they could just go, no, I'm not interested. And in that digital faceless world, it was so difficult because back in the day, I can remember buying Stacey a tablet from PC World. And I nearly ended up fighting 3 people in PC World just because I was so fuming that I'd paid actual cash money for something that had broken after a week. And he went, "I'll send it off and see what they can do." And I was like, "You fucking won't. You'll give me another one now." He's like, "That's not how it works." I said, sales of goods. No. What the fuck is the act? Sales of Goods Act. That's it. So it needs to be fit for purpose.
Right.
And if I bought a tablet that needs to display something and it won't turn on, it's not fit for purpose. So the Sales of Goods Act, whatever it was I was quoting at the time, I was bang on. I then basically, the biggest insult that I gave him, which really bothered him, that made him want to fight me, was the fact that all the main people were wearing white shirts and he had a blue shirt. And when he was trying to say to me, "There's nothing I can do," I was like, no, that's what this guy said. And this guy's not a manager. You're a fucking manager. So put your big boy pants on because you're now going to give me a new tablet. Otherwise, you're going to have a really big fucking problem. And he's like, no. And I think causing a scene, especially in England, is one of the best things you can do because
for sure,
people don't like it.
Yeah.
They get really uncomfortable when you cause a scene. You can ask my mother-in-law because she hates it when I do it. But I do it on purpose. So when you cause a scene, it gets a reaction. And he was adamant and he was sticking to his story that he couldn't do anything. I was like, so you're telling me the only difference, management, between you and him is the fact you got a blue shirt on? And he was fucking fuming. He said, "I'll fucking find you." I was like, "I'll be outside now, no problem. I'll hit you with this fucking tablet." And basically, I think it took like 2 or 3 phone calls to other people while we were there.
Yeah.
And they ended up giving me another tablet. And I was like, look, if it's not fit for purpose, but if I don't have that, if I was trying to deal with that on email, it's just so faceless that things get frittered away. Like those slippers that I bought, those ones I told you about, they ripped after a week. And when I sent them a message to say, "Bro, this is ridiculous," all they said was, "Send them back." I was like, "No, that's not good enough." Because that now means that I'm not going to come back to you. I need more.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the face-to-face elements and the going into shop and building relationships and that sort of thing, it's a shame that it's lost.
Yeah.
That's why I massively value a community of full reptile people because it doesn't matter if it's on YouTube, if it's on the Breakdown, the War Room, any of our shows, or on this, or even when people are messaging us through their Facebook and everything else. That community is super important to me because I think we could meet any of them and remember part of their story, or it wouldn't take a lot to go, "Oh, you're that guy," or "You're that guy." Because
do you remember the guy who bought the spruce medallion hat and his dog chewed the fuck out of it?
Yeah, mate, but that was gold because I think it's still in a box.
Yeah.
And it just got shredded to pieces. But we sent him another one.
Yeah.
And this isn't an advocate to say to people,
"Oh, we've got a sale on, by the way."
Yeah. Send it in.
Just by the way. We've got a sale on, by the way. On
we have
Reptile.
got a sale on.
Just lifestyle stuff. All the training stuff is as normal. The lifestyle stuff, hoodies, and although that's a special one, we don't sell those.
This is special, but you can still get a black one.
We do these, and we've got the sweatshirts, and we've got t-shirts and stuff. All the lifestyle stuff is 25% off for probably about a week because we're about out. We've got ends of lines. We're trying to clear some stuff out for new space for the new t-shirts that are coming.
New gear.
New t-shirts, new hoodies, new socks.
And you don't have to do anything. You can basically
just stick it in the cart.
But it makes it, because for me, I'm a massive, massive believer in the quality. So as much as I believe in our training stuff is a great quality, but it's £19 a shirt. So the difference is, at the minute, I feel that people go there and there's £19 training shirt, £30 lifestyle. If you haven't felt them or worn them or seen them, there's not a lot to give you a good idea other than the design over that £11 difference.
Yeah.
Same as our socks. Like, I didn't get into socks until I got a pair of stance socks. Mm-hmm. I would normally go and get
a pair of stance socks.
They're good,
yeah,
right?
For sure.
But
nice.
You would never consider to pay more than, I don't know, £5 for 10 pairs or whatever it was at Primark at the time. But I think once you've worn something good, and it comes down to gloves, it comes down to cars, hats, with quality.
I should give Rival a shout out, actually, because you remember the arm that I got that fits onto the punch bag?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a problem with it. It came loose. So I contacted them, and they have literally just sent me a brand new one.
Oh, wow.
I've not even sent the other one back yet, but they've sent me the postage stamp and everything for it. So shout out to Rival UK.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, really cool.
But it's that type of thing that once you've experienced that
I'll
quality,
go back there now because I know I've got no problem. If something's not right, they'll fix it for me.
That's kind of all you want. So if you get a chance and you've got some spare money, or even if you buy a little bit, whatever it is, treat yourself while the sale is on, because the lifestyle stuff honestly is above and beyond.
Yeah.
And as you know, with a lot of stuff, once it's gone, it's kind of gone.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the designs; they will be our forever mark. But at the same time, if you miss it, then it's problems for you.
So, 2 fights before we wrap it.
Go on.
Fiziev against RDA.
Yep.
Who's your pick?
What are you saying about RDA? Do you think he's still got it?
I don't know. My other concern is he's going back down to 55, isn't he, again? And I just don't. There was a reason he went up to 170, and Fiziev's just. Like, you got it. Like, RDA was known for having really good Muay Thai, but he's also known for being hittable. He does take a lot of shots. Like, Leon was too quick for him. He was able to catch him and move without getting anything in return. You've got to think how fast Fiziev is.
It's that age thing again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about RDA, it's not even his title run. Mm-hmm. And that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like he was there 5 years before that and a contender, but he wasn't in quick fights. He was in fucking fights.
Yeah.
So the problem is, you get to a point where it takes some element off your chin. Even with like Brook and Khan, all the commentators were talking about
Whiskers. Whiskers. Can kept saying that.
Was it his hittability? Like they weren't saying he had a glass jaw.
I've had a couple of comments from the Johnny Walker underchinned comment as well. Underchinned,
mate.
He got some. He's not undersized. He's underchinned. Underchinned for heavyweight.
Definitely underchinned. Jesus, that was terrifying. Almost like, you remember when Orlovsky got knocked out by early career Orlovsky. One of his first knockout losses, was it Hizzo? Who was it who knocked him out? Was it Pedro Hizzo or? I
don't remember. The one that came to my mind was when Crow Cop got dropped by Gonzaga and he just hit the deck. Although, honestly, one of the worst knockouts I've seen, and it was based on how he fell. Do you remember Sol Gilbert, who used to fight on Cage Rage around Paul Daly time? Yeah, he used to have the ZT Fight School down on the South Coast. He got knocked out by, I think, Curtis Stout.
Right.
And the way he fell, and what was weird is the Cage Rage cage was like knotted string.
What, around the edge?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was really fucking odd. It was literally like knotted string all the way around. Not particularly comfortable.
No.
But like the way he fell, because the cage would kind of give. It was a bit like a fucking
soft
one of them bags that you carry your vegetables in from the shop. You know what I mean? It's like it like sagged. So as he fell, his head's like kind of sandwiched up against the bar on the bottom of the cage. Honestly, I'll find it on YouTube later. But it was just like, as he fell, I thought to myself, that's not fucking good.
No,
that's not good. If he'd and the other one was
Crow Cop's foot was backwards when Gonzaga Crow Copped him.
Yeah, and that happened with Tank Abbott as well early in the day, didn't he? Up against the fence where he punched that guy and he just slumped. What was the other one that was weird? Shane Burgos, when he did that kind of.
Oh yeah, when his brain switched off. Yeah, that was horrible. But it happens more and more, and the problem is I suppose when you look at, there always used to be an argument between boxing and MMA that MMA is safer because there's not been any deaths in it.
Yeah.
But boxing's been around for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
MMA's been around since '93, so it's not comparable. But this is when you're seeing other people getting knocked out. But people are super interested because there's even videos of a doctor explaining what happened with Johnny Walker, which to me, it seemed like he was 89% knocked out, and it was a bit of an on-off sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So almost out, but not quite until he went back. But, I mean, going back to RDA, I mean, the guy was a champion. He was solid. But when I see people start jumping between weight classes, it's almost like his focus is on something else because he's trying to justify either retirement or something else. And when you were the top of your field, and he really was, I mean, he was really good. What he did to Ben Henderson was insane. The fact that he managed to carry on was that he's still fighting is good. But I just think he's got a few too many miles on the clock. He might completely surprise me, because I know that he again is another one of the fighters that have had personal problems. So for me, as a casual fan outside looking in, and he goes from 155 to 170, 155, that sometimes is an alarm bell. But if he's got personal things in between that as well, it never makes it easy.
Yeah, I know he was at Evolve for a while. I'm not sure whether he still trains out there, but Evolve in Singapore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was training out there for a while. I did say 2 fights, but there's another one I want to mention as well because it's been announced.
Okay.
While we're on the subject of this kind of lightweight little pool, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler.
Shut up. Has that been made?
That's been made, hasn't it? Yeah.
273, I think.
Yeah. Like, I said, because I mentioned
Who doesn't
something.
like Tony Ferguson?
Well, I mentioned something on the podcast the other day when we were chatting about Jim Miller, and I said that I wouldn't mind seeing Jim Miller against Tony Ferguson
All day.
or Michael
Or
Chandler.
Cowboy or what, yeah.
But then the comment was Michael Chandler killed Jim Miller. I'd like to see him fight Tony Ferguson though. So then the question is, do you think that Chandler's going to kill Tony Ferguson? Is he going to just be way too much for him? Because I don't know. I don't know as like Tony Ferguson's good. Really good fighter. We don't know where he's at now psychologically, physically. He's older and he was always a little bit kind of sideways, you know. But then Chandler came over from Bellator looking like an absolute assassin.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of fallen a little bit short.
Yeah.
Right?
But how many times has he fought? So he beat Dan Hooker, and we don't think Dan Hooker was really there that day. He wasn't.
And how's he going to make 145?
Who, Dan Hooker?
Dan Hooker fighting Arnold Allen at featherweight.
Horrible.
He's like 6'2", isn't he?
There's not a good enough reason to move because he's lost a fight. I mean, he got mauled by someone who's way better at that discipline than him.
Yeah.
So that's a different story. But when you look at Chandler, so Chandler came in and fought Dan Hooker. He's not the normal Dan Hooker that we used to see him because he charged him and obviously caught him with that. Well, when he was throwing a baseball
against the fence, didn't he?
Throwing a baseball into the crowd. So who did he fight after that? Was that the
Pull it up.
Charles de Bronx. So is Oliveira. So he was winning the first round, if you remember, because we did a ride along with it.
Yeah.
So he was winning the first round, looking really good, but it's that frame that he had that didn't help him with that, I don't think, because he didn't recover well in the 1 minute between rounds. I mean, I still think that Chandler is probably more dangerous than Tony Ferguson if he can get out the first round. If Tony Ferguson can get out the first round and he's made Chandler chase him, then I think that Tony's all right. But Tony's... The worst thing is that it's not Tony's decision that his body is getting worse or he's deteriorating due to age and all the rest of it, because a lot of focus was given to him with his leg surgery and his knee surgery and his recovery and all the rest of it, which is good. He managed to do it, but...
So Chandler's 35.
And what's Tony Ferguson? 38?
Quick look. He must be 37 or 38.
He's got to be closer to us.
Where is it?
I mean, what do you think? Do you not think that Chandler and Ferguson... Chandler's... he's
I don't know.
swimming around the championship fights and Ferguson's more around the opening
like the
prelims.
lightweight super
finishing
fights.
prelims, yeah.
He's the lightweight super fight category. Like, I would have preferred to see Ferguson fight someone like a Cowboy or an RDA. Like,
Yeah.
RDA would have made sense. Like, put Chandler against Fiziev.
Even Connor. I'd like to see him against Connor.
That's a good shout as well.
I'd
It's
even
just
see
an
him
odd
against
one
Connor.
because Chandler's obviously coming off 2 losses now because he lost to the champ and then he lost to Gaethje. So if he picks up a win here, that kind of recovers him. But then if Tony Ferguson picks up a win, like, then he's kind of back in that mix at the top.
Which is kind of terrifying.
Which, I mean, you know, do we get Tony Ferguson against Makhachev? Or do we get Tony Ferguson against Gaethje? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's scary, man.
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind seeing... Because when I said about Tony with the prelims, it's not a disrespect thing to Tony. It's finishing the prelim. So you headline the prelims. You know, like Orlovsky did the other day.
Yeah.
Then that's got kind of a bit of something to it because I think that would completely build him back to being ready. But the problem is it's the wear and tear, and he's not as quick. He's not as snappy. Whereas with someone like Chandler's as much as he lost to Gagey.
He's a great athlete.
Gagey didn't finish him.
No, he's a great athlete, Chandler is. Tony Ferguson's everything he does is a little bit sideways, and him like doing stuff like wrestling fucking hot tubs up against the
fucking
fence.
batshit crazy.
You
man.
don't
I love
know
him
what
for
he's
it.
doing on a daily basis that's damaging him. You know?
No, and the problem is, he's typing his own tweets because they are all coming out as absolute fucking monkey juice. Do you know what I mean? Just like, chop shit only. What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I mean, we met him. Can you remember when we met him? Strange.
Yeah.
Lovely.
I mean, a lot of the guys are, though, a lot of the MMA fighters, but Tony kind of stands out with it's like he's trying to mimic the cool guys at school.
Yeah.
But he's like nearly 40.
Yeah. It's like
Tim Westwood.
Yes. Yeah. Drop a bollocks. Safe, isn't it, fam? One time.
Tim Westwood.
Word.
Fucking hell.
Don't do that, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even when we saw him, like we'd been speaking to the management for a little bit because he basically had a meet and greet with all of his fans, or some of his fans. I can't say it's all of them, but we were in the casino and you'd been on doing the weigh-ins.
Open workouts.
Open workouts, sorry. Yeah. And so on the way back to the car, we're like, oh shit, there's Tony. We'll give him some gear, have a bit of a catch up. We just chat to him for a second because obviously Slim had seen him before. So then we spoke to the management because this queue was fucking massive. And I was like, I ain't standing in a queue for a minute because I've got to get back to the car. So then they were like, oh yeah, just go up. So we went up and he just started doing these different poses at us, almost like he was sort of like initiating a dance off.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you can't flex my moves, Tony. What are you doing? And then he got Slim and he was like, and I tried to give him a pin badge and he sort of took it like, you know, the red pill and the blue pill.
Yeah.
And I was thinking,
Don't
get me
swallow
wrong,
it.
I love a gimmick. I fucking love a gimmick. But you know, sometimes when you're trying to get someone's attention and actually speak to them properly and they're still doing the same gimmick, like, bro, I know you're not Mr. Tumble. Just fucking chill out 10 minutes just so I can talk to you. And it was a very bizarre experience, but I cannot take away from what Tony's achieved. I can't put him in the ground and say that Chandler will bury him because he's that kind of fighter that he keeps me interested.
Yeah, you just don't
And he
know.
might do a roly-poly into a backflip fucking cartwheel that just destroys Chandler.
Yeah.
We know Chandler can be stopped.
Yeah, I can see him catching Chandler with one of them wild spinning elbows off the fence or something. Like
bit
Chandler's
like
caught him
Faber
and
Brown.
he's rocked, you know, like he was in the Venata fight.
Yes.
And he's rocked and he's reeling a bit and then Chandler's chasing him down and all of a sudden he goes, boom, straight onto a fucking spinning elbow.
Or like the spinning cartwheel kick. 'Cause you remember when Faber got knocked out by Brown off the cage?
Yeah, the bounce off the fence.
Yeah, well, he missed it, but I can see. The thing is, it's like when he fought Pettis, Tony.
Yeah.
When Tony fought Pettis, it's like the game had glitched and the characters were just doing what they wanted, wasn't it? It was fucking weird. So I'd love to see, because them sort of flash knockouts are always the best. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you see someone just get absolutely spandangled by something that you didn't expect. And that's what you always get with Tony. He always delivers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think he didn't maybe get enough hugs.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's all it is.
I think so. I'd like to see him have an RDA kind of fight before he's back in there against a Chandler. Because I won't mind seeing him back in the mix. And if it's going to be 3 or 4 fights at the most. Because otherwise he's probably working past the point where he should.
Yeah, you don't want him to have brain damage and be fucking more brain damage.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, sorry.
So, Covington Masvidal, how do you see it?
I can't say what I really want to say about this, can I? Because I don't want to jinx the fight.
Oh, no. Do you think it's going to be a snooze fest?
No.
I think it's going to be boring? Or do you think Covington's just going to maul him for 25 minutes?
I just didn't think it was going to happen. And I'm still sceptical. Is that bad?
Mm.
Because I don't want
it's really bad.
I don't want to jinx it because I want to see the fight.
Still spectacle.
Yeah. They seem like they've both got too much to lose. Because Covington's coming off 2 losses, right? But he's an animal. We know he can fight. We know, obviously, put the carrot to one side. He's a good fighter. Whereas Masvidal's had this massive resurgence and looked incredible and obviously built a huge brand off the back of it. So if he wins, it just carries on his brand, which is more derogatory to Colby than it is positive to Masvidal because he's got ammo for days just to fucking rain down on him. Whereas if Masvidal loses, I don't think it's got the same sort of derogatory impact to Masvidal because his followers are like a Diaz follower. You could lose 1,000 in a row and mug a grandma and they would still fucking follow you.
Yeah.
Which is good. To have that fan base is gold.
Hardcore.
Yeah. Whereas it just sent, when they put it on, I was like, I'd love to see it. But it's almost the fucking Randy and Fedor. It's destined not to happen.
I kind of, at this point, I don't like. I agree. I don't think it does a great deal to Masvidal. I think he's always a draw. You know, you could make Masvidal McGregor at 170, and that's probably the biggest fight of the year. Yeah, like with no belts and no nothing on the line. 25 minutes, Masvidal McGregor.
For a bag of
wherever.
Chips.
Yeah,
all day.
Don't matter. But Colby, he's a harder sell. So if he beats Masvidal, that puts him into a legitimate place in the division, right?
Yeah.
If Masvidal wins, it keeps him in a legitimate place in the division. But Masvidal doesn't need a win over Colby to stay successful in MMA. Whereas Colby, I just don't know I don't know how you recover him after this. He's going to end up fighting someone down the bottom of the top 10 to, you know, he'll end up in a Gastelum kind of situation.
Exactly. Right?
And that's not a place you want to be. And I don't know how much he can keep up his gimmick. Like that might start to run a bit thin and start to be a bit of a drain as well.
Yeah. Well, even when you look at someone like Chael, when his gimmick, it was interesting and it was fun at the time. And since he's managed to make himself a career past that, the gimmick's kind of gone. He says some outlandish things occasionally, or when he speaks quite animated, or he can be emotional. But it's not the same gimmick because Colby's is like a wish version of Chael's. Do you know what I mean? Because Chael, he kept my attention, whereas Colby, all the while, my brain's just telling me that's not him.
Yeah,
that's not him. That's not really it.
Yeah.
You can't really think like that.
Yeah,
and
it's more clear. Like Chael plays a character that's more closer to who he is anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas Colby went, this is not working.
Yeah.
Let me be fucking this guy, and you know, and it's like. That's not, you can't parlay that into a career after MMA unless you want to be on the Trump promotional circuit. I don't know who you market him to. ESPN aren't going to pick him up. Like it puts him in a really difficult situation because if anything, he's got to step out of that character at some point while he's still in the limelight. Yeah.
Well, any desk, you can't be sat on any desk at any point and act like that because you've been shown up enough times, and I don't mean shown up in a nasty way, but you've been beaten. So there's enough evidence and there's enough stuff out there. It's like when he was calling Usman Marty. It's because he went by that name.
Yeah.
The fact that it bothered Usman more than anything gave Colby more chance to play with it.
Yeah.
If Usman would have claimed and go, yes, well, yeah, of course that was my name.
Then it's gone.
Because you fucking white idiots couldn't understand my normal fucking name, you dickhead.
Yeah.
So if he'd have owned it and played it,
for sure.
That's only my personal opinion.
But he didn't. He got angry about it.
He shut the door. He's like, no, there wasn't any Marty. I wasn't Marty. It's like, well, you were.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, there's enough people that have shown you up enough in the past. There was a woman that I worked with at Thornton's called Maureen.
Right.
She has shown me up so many times because I was naive, because I was 16. She once asked me, do I want to see a monkey? Right? Now, bear in mind, we were in a factory in 1997 in the middle of England with people who were a bit derpy, right? So when someone says, do you want to see my monkey? I didn't know if there might have been a monkey to see. So I was like, yeah, let's fucking go. She started to pull her trousers down and she was 65. That's terrifying. But it made me a man.
Tell me it was a tattoo.
No, it wasn't. I didn't know that a lady's trust triangle could be called a monkey's. It was either a monkey's fringe or a monkey's forehead. I'd never heard of that.
I've never heard that.
Right, but
that must be a Derby thing.
She fucking knew, and she knew how to terrorise a 16-year-old. Now, if I saw her, or if she came in here now, if she came back from the dead, and she came in and she was like, all right, remember that time I terrified you with my monkey? I'd be like, yes, I fucking do. If I denied it, there's probably some fucking grainy footage somewhere of me in some fucking horrible, scary warehouse with this old woman. But the point is that you have to laugh it off. You have to admit it, or you can own shit a lot easier. The problem with Colby is he's too rigid within that format. So
do you remember that video I made before the GSP fight?
Yes.
The parody of like being
with you in a wrestler with a singlet on.
Yeah. I was like,
your
I'm
head
gonna
was shaved.
Yeah. I'm
Dude.
going to hear about me being a terrible wrestler the whole training camp. So I'm going to go straight in at the punchline before anybody else gets there. I made this it's still on my old YouTube channel. It's fucking stupid.
But if GSP would have done one with the Karate Kid,
yeah, I even thanked AC Slater in the credits.
Mate, you know you're best because you're only a man, and a man's got to learn to take it.
There we go.
But I don't know why I know the lyrics, but it's in there. But if GSP would have come out in a pair of like stripy pajamas, and gone, Dan Hardy, why are you talking about my pajamas?
Yeah, exactly.
He'd been like,
winner, well done.
All day, 5s to you.
Yeah.
But because it makes someone angry, and it almost comes back to that thing where your mum would say, ignore a bully and they'll get bored.
Yeah.
They used to work a bit, but I think it's one of those things that the more you bite on something, and you saw it a lot when especially British fighters migrated to the UFC. So when you were with Marcus Davis, there was the sense of humour was it fell out of his arse.
Yeah.
Anyone Bisping has ever fought, it fell out of their arse because
I tell you, the only one that counted Bisping was Jorge Rivera.
Yeah,
and was he Boston? Was he Sit Your Tongue Boston?
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
and it was he
was talking about him landing more strikes than anybody else and not knocking anybody out, wasn't he? Yeah.
But they did the Carl's Mum's a Bitch off of South Park. She's a big fat bitch. She's the biggest bitch in the whole world. Well, she's a mean old bitch. If there was a bitch, she's a bitch. Do all the biting gas. But he did it that was. I think if you ask Bisping, do you have any regrets?
Yeah.
It would because he actually spat in the corner.
Oh, he did,
which is
he?
kind of filthy when you think about it. It's fucking vile. But he'd annoyed him.
Yeah,
it's not justified that he spat, but if anything, especially Bisping, you know not to rise to that shit.
For sure.
You can't rise to it when someone's poking you.
Can't give them that
no,
foothold.
You can't give them that satisfaction. Chance. And I don't know if that is just inbuilt to us that especially Brits and the UK sort of get that.
Yeah.
Because it's hardened all the time. You know what I mean?
Jimmy Wallhead is impenetrable. There is not a thing you can say to him.
No.
It honestly. But
I love it.
And people at home are going to be thinking I'm exaggerating here. You could literally say anything you like to Jimmy Wallhead as far as like fucking ripping into him.
Yeah.
And it bounces off him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yeah. Well.
But then if he's
like he
mauling
walks around
you,
Loughborough with his fucking man bag with Mickey Mouse on it.
Dare to say something.
I dare you. I dare you. Please, someone. You have never seen a slam to side control outside of Sainsbury's like Jimmy Wallhead would deliver.
It's just a flash of orange. It's like a Sainsbury's truck. Yeah, it's like a Sainsbury's truck's gone over. What was that? It was Jimmy Wallhead. He got mad. But I think it takes a lot. Whereas with Masvidal, when you saw, because you did the interview with him and Darren Till,
I did,
and he was that relaxed within himself to go, yeah, well, you think you're going to do that? That's fine. But
what was great about that, though, is that they were both in that same kind of state. Like, you couldn't rile Darren Till either.
No.
You know, like, he's of the same mindset.
But Darren Till is still unbeatable in that world because even though he's been sparkoed in England in front of fucking everyone, he owned it.
He got to.
So he's lost that fight. He's lost
to Woodley.
Yeah. He's then had a fight with Wonderboy and all these other people. Mm-hmm. But when it's Darren Till, you still tune in.
For sure.
Because there's something about him that is polarising. Like with Masvidal, I'll never forget speaking to Ross Edgley in there when he was surprised that Masvidal, that it was causing this big stir. But obviously he's not been following MMA for quite the same amount of time. So to me, it was like, this is a massive challenge for Darren. But because Masvidal's like an extra Diaz brother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was like the aftermarket one with long hair.
He's the better version of what the Diaz brothers kind of embody, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Like the Diaz brothers are street fighters, but it's a pull card kind of street fighter. It's not like a skilled striker type.
We're not going to the depth.
Like Nick had good boxing. I'm not saying Nate doesn't have good boxing skills. He does, but they're not the skills that Nick Diaz had.
No.
Like you look at Nick Diaz against Paul Daly. Like
ridiculous.
the volume that he was throwing and the flow that he had in that finishing combination was beautiful. And Nick is always like a kind of an impression of. Nate is always kind of an impression of Nick. You know what I mean? Like not quite learnt the principles of it, but he's got the movement right.
Yes.
So he kind of does the same things, but they're not quite as effective.
He's just watching his big brother.
Exactly. Masvidal he's on a whole new level of calculation. Like we recorded the breakdown show earlier this week, and the more I watch Masvidal, the more I see in his game. I'm like, holy shit! Like that was very, very clever.
Mate,
like just something like sometimes like he'll do something like he'll like stand back and drop his hands, or he'll be in the moment and then he'll like just kind of glance off for a second, and for someone like Kamaru Usman, who's seeing someone who's so confident on their feet, and he's finding his feet very much. He's a very effective striker now, but he still doesn't have that comfort that Masvidal does.
No.
Even though he knocked Masvidal out, you can still tell he's not, because when he lands that first shot, like he did against Gilbert Burns, lands that first shot, and then there's like this wave of excitement that comes out of him, right? Something that you don't see in Masvidal. Like when he cracked Nate with that overhand, and Nate kind of buckles and he wanders back, like Masvidal just jogs forward and he looks at his head, looks at his body, and then he powers that body kick in.
But
it's like calculated.
There's almost the smallest. He can't allow himself to give himself full credit.
Yeah.
Because he knows that excitement is only around the corner.
Yeah.
But that excitement isn't for the camera. That excitement isn't for anyone other than him. And I think that powers him, especially when, like you say, when he looks away.
Yeah.
These are all street fighting tactics. These are all little cheeky moves that he's picked up. And because he's been on such a unique circuit.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to the bare knuckle boxing thing.
That's what I mean. To fight in that world.
Because he's learnt striking skills to be a better street fighter.
Yes.
Because he's a street fighter by instinct.
Yeah.
So he's now bolstered that with good skills, so he's more effective at that. Like when he fought, was his name Ray, the guy that was like Kimbo's protege?
Yes.
And they fought in that backyard with the fence. Well, they fought twice, didn't they? So the first one was in like a concrete car park with like a chain link fence.
Yeah, and the other one was
and
like
the next one was a
it
was a backyard on grass with a
Yes.
wooden fence. But like the guy he was fighting had clearly been taught a couple of things. But it was his gameness and his willingness to scrap and his power, his physical prowess.
Especially imagine Masvidal turning up and you're going, I'm massive, you're tall, you're tiny, I'm going to smash you.
Like Kimbo Slice, like the guys that he fought back in the day, like they were like physical guys, powerful individuals. Like there'd be a fucking handful for anybody.
Yeah.
But they're probably dormant.
Yeah.
Right? Then you've got Kimbo, he's got some head movement and he's got some punching skills and he's also got that physicality.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know. I think there's something quite special when you get someone that's got a natural instinct to be in that chaotic fight scenario and they've taken the time to level up their striking skills. Like Mike Perry is a good comparison. Mike Perry's striking skills are fucking galaxies away from Masvidal's. Doesn't mean he won't be effective, sometimes, but his comprehension of what's going on, his ability to have a conversation with his opponent when they don't understand what's going on. Like Mike Perry in sparring sessions would tool Masvidal would tool Mike Perry in sparring sessions, because he's got so much depth to his game. Like, and that's why the breakdown's interesting for me, because you can see that Masvidal's taught Colby a bunch of stuff in striking, but Colby's not quite there. He's not quite got the concept of it like Masvidal's got.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of the same thing for Masvidal. Masvidal's grappling skills and wrestling, scrambling abilities have been improved by Colby, but he's not got that depth of understanding of breaking someone down like Colby's got.
It was like rich kid, poor kid. Do you know what I mean? This kid was nurtured and sent to wrestling practice and this kid grew up on the street and they got together and he sort of... But it's almost like when Masvidal is almost like not invincible, but he's almost like a John Wick character that you're like, well, he'll win. Because even if he loses and gets knocked out, he's still kind of the winner because you're following that, just that narrative of how you're interested in what he's doing because his character and everything that he's portraying, you're more interested in.
Yeah.
Whereas the Covington side of things, I know when you guys met him, you said he was the nicest guy. He was a lovely dude. And the problem is, it kind of makes you feel bad because he's obviously carved this niche and now he's stuck in it a little bit.
Yeah.
But regardless of him winning or losing, he doesn't rise any higher than Masvidal because Masvidal's confidence is a strange thing.
Yeah.
Because he's the coolest kid at school.
Yeah.
You know, like the absolute coolest kid that you probably know. I didn't know ours. I can remember who he was, and I can remember seeing him, and you're almost like, he's cool as fuck. And it was effortless. It was just effortless. And I know that Masvidal's put a lot of leg in to get to that point, but regardless of the outcome, I mean, the only thing I can see Colby doing is just trying to maul him.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as we know, the fight always starts on its feet. It's always there, so there's always a chance for him to sort of get his range and all the rest of it. And obviously, Masvidal and Colby have started on their feet in training a fuckload of times. So there would have been a time when one of them constantly went for a takedown, or one of them, like, they'll know each other's first shot, whatever it is, because the amount of times they've done it, it could be that Masvidal was trying a left hook or a right hook or whatever it was. They've got far too much memories of each other.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be an interesting fight because of that, because we know they're both going to try and outdo each other and outthink, but then it almost gets into that dangerous ground of, yeah, but if I think that you think that I think that you think that I think that you think that you think that I think that, that I think that I'll do that before you think that I think that you think that you're going to do that I think you're not going to do. I'll do the opposite, because that's fucking head fuckery.
Yeah, and that could happen to either of them.
Of course it can.
Yeah.
It's like
Imagine
you find
if
Jimmy.
he Askrens him. Imagine if he just sprints and Askrens him in the first few seconds. It'd be an immediate rematch, surely.
Yeah.
Surely people would want to see it again. You'd be like, oh.
But that's the
I
thing.
want to see them scrap for a couple of rounds.
Yeah.
I want to see how well they know one another.
I think the thing that always pulls me back to Masvidal is just that grin. It's just whenever he either gets hit or he hits someone, it's that knowing look as if to say, you know, you're fucked, mate.
Yeah.
Even if he's getting knocked about. So,
what's your final pick?
The trouble is, I can never pick against someone who I want to win. So I want Masvidal to win.
Okay.
So I can't say Covington, even though I can go head and heart and say that
10 out of 10. 10 fights out of 10. Who wins what?
It's almost 50-50, man.
You reckon, yeah?
I think so, because it's I think Covington's coming off 2 losses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only is he coming off 2 losses, Masvidal's got a week's worth of shit to throw at him to say that his jaw was broken. Because again, he didn't own that, did he? He didn't own the fact that he got his jaw broken. He didn't own the fact he got beat. He didn't own any of that shit. So he wears it really heavily. And when you've got someone like Masvidal who can needle and point at every bit that he's fucking done wrong, it's either going to fit him into a ball of rage that's going to come out on Saturday and make a mistake, or he's going to catch Masvidal and try and put it as a point that he's making. I think whatever he's doing, it's going to fuck with his headspace. Whereas I think Masvidal is kind of clear because he's like, do what you want, mate. I've made bank, so I'm good now, thanks. So I think it's a 50-50 just from what he can needle through him. And because I can't take away from the fact that Covington is a good fighter. He's a really good fighter and he deserves to be where he is. I would just love to see his natural personality, and especially when him and Masvidal were so close, it'd be interesting to see them coming through as a tag team, because they'd have been fucking solid.
Yeah, for sure. Shame they're in the same weight class, otherwise they might have still been stuck together.
Yeah. Who did you pick on the breakdown?
I didn't. I don't make a prediction on the breakdown. My goal with that is to give people enough information so they can be either more secure in their pick, or if they've got a bias towards one person, they come to the end of the show and they're like, oh, fuck, I never thought kind of, yeah. Okay. I like to try and just even the playing field no matter what the person's thinking. I feel like Colby's got the advantage, but I don't think it's a massive advantage. And the, like, if it's 60-40, if it's 6 fights out of 10 for Colby and 4 fights out of 10 for Masvidal, there's a 3-fight swing in the psychology going into it.
Yeah,
because you just don't know where the mindset is. No. That's me predicting based on them both showing up, fighting a faceless version of their opponent and putting their best skills on test. When it's not a faceless person, there's a shift in the psychology, and I don't know which way it shifts. As you said, it most likely shifts towards Masvidal, but we don't know where their mindsets are coming out of training camp. We don't know how their mindsets were when they reflect on their training sessions together. Like, what does Masvidal remember of when Colby was one of his main training partners? And what does Colby remember Masvidal teaching him, or things that Masvidal would catch him with over and over again that he could never deal with?
Yeah.
Right?
Because he can already put that in place.
Right? Because the thing is, if you put those two boys in a training camp together and they spend 6 months together, the things that Colby does well, Masvidal will have the counter much better than he would have done 6 months previous. So, and that works both ways, you know. So the same things, like how much of Colby's game has adapted and grown since he was training with Masvidal.
Yeah.
And is Masvidal the same fighter that he was back in those days? Because I would say now he's far more calculated.
Yeah.
And he's far more aggressive and more of a risk taker.
Yeah.
Which might not be the version
fought.
that's it. Like, it might not be the version that Colby remembers. But then I don't know if Colby's striking's got to a level where Masvidal's going to be surprised by it.
Yeah. I mean, what round did Masvidal get knocked out? Was it the second?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Against who's?
I think it was the third. Was it third?
It wasn't the first.
Let me have a quick look.
Was it the first?
You can be...
Fair play, Jamie. I thought it was the second. Because it would be interesting to see it. I haven't
I've
watched
watched
it
so
again.
many fights this week that.
But obviously, when he's fighting Usman, that's a powerful wrestler that he was avoiding being taken down. It's not like we saw Masvidal on his back a great deal. Second.
Yep.
1 minute 21 left.
No, 1 minute 2 into the fight.
1 minute 2. What did I say? 121. Not fucking bad, eh? Not fucking bad.
Yeah, second round knockout.
Okay. So
I mean, the thing is, like, split decision to Maya, unanimous decision against Wonder Boy, who is just such a difficult person. I mean, that
kind of doesn't count for anyone, right?
That would have been much more revealing of the actual winner over 5 rounds instead of 3.
Yeah,
because you need a round or so to figure Wonder Boy's movement out. Like you remember when Masvidal and when Till fought Wonder Boy,
mate.
Like it was like 2 high level chess players.
Yeah,
and it was really it was very tense, even though not a great deal happened. I think the new version of Masvidal is a different version psychologically than he fought against Damian Maia and Thompson. Because then he goes into the Darren Till fight, then the Askren fight, and then the Nate Diaz fight, and he stopped all 3.
Yeah.
And I just think his mindset's different. You know, he had moments early in his career where, like, a couple of split decisions, Ben Henderson and Lorenz Larkin, split decision to Iaquinta, like, fights where he would look back and go, I should have taken more chances.
But I think that was the short-haired Masvidal that didn't have as much money in his wallet.
That's very true. Well, he did that reality TV show, didn't he?
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him about that because he said honestly a lot of things in his mind changed while he was on that show. It kind of took him away from everything and gave him a different perspective, a different look on it. I don't know really. I think it's fascinating. I'm going to be studying him closely as fight week happens because I want to see him interact with one another. I want to see what they look like on Embedded. I want to see all of it.
Exactly.
Weigh-ins and everything.
There's far too much evidence, isn't there?
I can't make my mind up until the fight day because there's so much at swing. Right now, I feel like Covington, faceless opponents, Covington is marginally the favourite in my eyes.
And by wrestling?
By grappling. By mauling him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't disagree. The thing is, like you say, even the 60-40, it's one of them because the grappling, if you can nullify someone's attack and you can take their legs out, then it's an easier road to victory. I'm not saying it's easier to accomplish, but by taking them down and holding them down, it's a safer environment because when you look at someone like Masvidal, who essentially just downloaded Darren Till for a round. He literally downloaded him for a round and went, oh, you do that, do you?
Yeah.
That's cute. Clink. And off he went. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when he watched it back, he was calculated to that point that he was like, right, well, I'm going to slip this and then I'm going to absolutely start you. Same as with the Askren. When he was in the locker room training it.
That was so well planned. I remember when I was doing Inside the Octagon and we were talking about Masvidal going into the Nate Diaz fight. It was one of the last episodes I did. And if you look at the split screen that I did, where you've got Ben Askren level changing on Robbie Lawler and him level changing onto Masvidal's knee, he's in the same position both times.
Yeah.
So it's quite clear that Masvidal or his coaches or somebody watched that footage and gone, okay, heads to that side. Let's go back into his old fights, into like earlier in his career. Let's have a look which side he shoots. Collegiate wrestling videos. Let's have a look.
Left.
Yeah. Head over.
But that's someone who's obsessed. And it's not because they're obsessed just because they're doing the Connor side of things where it's Hollywood and all the rest of it. It's because this is his thing. This is everything about Masvidal is fighting.
Yeah.
And he's good at it. And it's what he's claimed. And I think when someone is obsessed for that reason, it's far more exciting and interesting than someone that's going, oh, I'm going to climb this ladder. Because I don't think he needs to give a fuck. He's got a BMF belt.
That's it.
It's one of them. whatever.
He's a standalone champion with that belt.
Without
I mean,
doubt.
he's such an independent commodity in MMA. Like people tune in to watch him fight, not tune in to watch him be successful.
No, exactly.
The success is kind of
That's why you'd rather have a few more rounds, even if he loses.
Yeah.
At least we've got 2 or 3, so we can get a bit of a scrap.
Good point.
Do you think Joe commentates?
I hope so.
Mate,
I hope so.
it's a strange world at the minute.
It is, man. It is. I'm keeping up with all this shit that's going on in Ukraine and stuff as well as what's going on in Canada, and everything's upside down.
Everything's bonkers, my man.
I saw a great meme on that British memes account of someone fucking a dude taking a balloon. It's like a drawing. Did you see it? He's like taking a balloon that says summer with no COVID restrictions on it. Then the next drawing is this big fucking pink monster putting his arms around that says World War III on the side. Like, oh shit, this is the reality we're living in. Mate. We don't have to wear masks, but we've got to worry about fucking
Russia.
It's fucking silliness. We won't get into politics, but I'm mad into it. I'm following it like on a fucking 10-minute basis.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to have a look at an update, see what's going on.
I only have to follow it to be able to reassure the kids that everything's all right.
Yeah.
While I'm digging a bomb shelter in the garden.
It's fucking a weird world, man. It's a weird world.
Mate, terrifying.
Yeah. Right. Let's wrap it there anyway, shall we?
Have a brew.
All right. Catch you all later. Oh, fullreptile.co.uk. Go and check it out. All the lifestyle stuff is 25% off. The beanies have come down a couple of quid because we've managed to be able to get them a bit cheaper for you guys. So
yes.
we've
also, very quickly then, for the last thing, as a competition that I think we should do, in the comments, I have a chat with a lot of people in the comments. I kind of like it. It's a nice thing. So, not the live chat, because obviously I know that you lot have a good chat while this is going live, but the normal comments, what do we need them to do? Tell us a story, something, and I'll choose one person that gets some of the lifestyle gear. I'll send them a couple of T-shirts and a Nalgene or something. I'll choose whatever I can get past Wad without him knowing. I will put out. But if we have a competition, what should we say?
What should we say?
What got you into MMA? What was your first fight? How did you... I keep banging on this table. People are going to get pissed off and think I'm Ollie. I'm not Ollie. I have hair. So yeah, what got you into MMA? What was it? Who was your first fighter? Who was your favourite fighter? Or any of that sort of stuff? Just let us know who you are a little bit and just give us a bit of background, and then I'll basically put all those names in a hat and I'll get one of the kids to draw it out, and you'll win a load of merch.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Good call. Share us a story how you got into MMA. It will most likely be a fighter that you met or something, or a fight that you watched. They're usually the stories I hear.
I got Ultimate Knockouts 2 and I saw Ian Freeman.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then he was doing a comedy show at a pub nearby, and I went to see him. Yeah. I've got one of his DVDs, one of his comedy DVDs. He's
joking.
savage.
Really?
He is savage.
Wow.
Yeah. Not for the 21st century. Let's
Definitely
put it that
not.
way.
No. Chubby Brown was offended.
Mate, 100%. Yeah. All right. Catch you all next time.
Take it easy.